9.5 seconds.
The Joe Walsh Show.
It's my life, it's my money, it's my family, it's my business. I'll be responsible for everything. Government, get the hell out of my life. 9.5 freaking seconds.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
That might have been 8.5 seconds.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now. 1-800-933-0414. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-933-0414. That's 1-800-933-0414. 1-800-933-0414.
5:07, let's get an update on the roads this morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. Reagan Tollway, westbound 88, west of Yackley. There's a crash. 3 left lanes are blocked. Prepare to slow down there. At the eastbound side, it's fine. Westbound Adams Tollway from 25 to the Fox River Bridge. There's construction in the left lane till 2 p.m. Elsewhere, roadwork has cleared on the expressways and tollways. Everything looks good. No problems. Delays to report elsewhere. Traffic as a service. Illinois Partners for Clean Air. Idling your car engine is a big waste. Idling causes air pollution as 6 billion gallons of fuel goes up in smoke every year. Or to breathe easy, save easy with Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Nothing.
Today mostly
You
cloudy,
lose.
warm, and humid
Good
with a
day,
shower
sir.
or thunderstorm around, high 83. Tonight, partly cloudy and humid with a shower or thunderstorm around with a low of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71. Some heavy fog crossing the area this morning. Drive with care. Next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, a sad day, sad news yesterday that came over the transom in the afternoon. I saw your tweet on it.
That Cookie died, the 83-year-old cockatoo from at Brookfield Zoo. Did you get that tweet?
No, I didn't get that.
Oh, you're talking about the other 83-year-old who died.
I'm talking about comedic genius Gene Wilder,
Yeah.
of course. Gene Wilder, the Waco Kid. But I shoot with this hand.
Oh, here we go.
That's
all
how-
morning
that's-
long, folks. Your favorite Gene Wilder moments
That's
retold
how-
by one Dan Proft.
But that's how iconic
Yeah.
he is, and that's how you know somebody's iconic. You just give like half a line, and everybody knows what you're talking about and the bit you're talking about. The Waco Kid, Dr. Frankenstein, and
Alive!
and apparently
Excuse me, that's too
Frau
rough.
Bruller co-hosting with us. Apparently he was suffering from Alzheimer's disease. The cause of death was complications from
the last
Alzheimer's.
3 years, which is too bad. I didn't even know he had Alzheimer's. Did you?
I did not.
They kept it a secret. His fourth wife, they would have been married for 24 years, and she was, the caretaker, and she kept it under wraps.
You kind of think though, for eternity, he's going to be reunited with Gilda Radner, right?
Oh, I know, isn't that awful? And everyone kept talking about, his third wife killed it. They didn't even mention his fourth wife, and he was with her for 24 years.
Well, I mean, but that's only because Gilda Radner
died so early in life.
So she was on the B team. She was the backup.
Well, no,
Well,
I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm just saying Gilda Radner died like 35 years ago. I mean, she
know.
died. Gilda's house is still here in Chicago and all that. But it just seemed like that was the couple. I don't know. It just seems to me that those two are
Well, they're the comedic
connected.
couple. Yeah, they starred in 2 movies together, then fell in love and were married. And she died at the age of 42.
They met at Yale Law Library, as I recall. It
and
was a boy and a girl.
in the spring of 1971.
And it's still going on.
Yeah. Crazy.
Gene Wilder. So I went a couple of months ago. Mel Brooks at Chicago Theater, screening of Blazing Saddles, and then Mel Brooks after the screening comes out and does like an hour interview.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't really an interview. It's just a guy who's like essentially prompting Mel Brooks to tell stories. And Mel Brooks is 90 or 91 years old, and lucid, sharp, quick as ever. It was hysterical. If some people have probably seen a version of this on HBO when he sat down and did an interview with Dick Cavett.
Okay.
And it was a storytelling session. So one of the great stories that Mel Brooks told about Gene Wilder, he's going through the cast of Blazing Saddles' relationship with the different cast members and so forth, and how Young Frankenstein happened.
Can I say it? He's alive.
It's terrible. I mean, Gene Wilder's just passed away, and you have to desecrate his memory with those kind of impersonations.
He's alive. Didn't you love that movie?
I think that's from Weird Science,
Oh.
actually. I think you're confusing. So anyway, the Gene Wilder story, if I may.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, if I can get it above the din
get me
of
on
your
Blazing
bad Young
Saddles.
Frankenstein impersonations. I can't wait for your Cleavon Little later this morning. That should be something. So Gene Wilder, at a break while they're shooting Blazing Saddles, is like scrolling on the back of an envelope, and Mel Brooks comes up to him and says, "What are you writing?" He said, "I got this idea for a movie," and the idea for the movie was Young Frankenstein.
Oh.
And so they talked about it, and it was essentially conceived on a break during Blazing Saddles, and they got together and started talking about it, and it came together to be this additional iconic movie. And it's so interesting because that's what happens when you have creative people together who respect one another and have a good working relationship, and it just those kind of ideas just bubble to the surface, and then everybody takes them and runs with them, and you produce great art. And Gene Wilder was a great comedic artist. There's no question.
And he was an accomplished alumni of the University of Iowa, Dan. He attended there from 1951 to 1955. He was a theater major, communications major.
I recall him
followed
saying
in
that was his
footsteps.
biggest regret.
What?
Going to the University of Iowa.
Oh
Biggest
my
regret.
gosh, that was his greatest shining moment. That's where he learned the art of acting. It's true. They have a wonderful theater department there.
Name another.
David Mamet. Well, he wasn't in the theater.
David Mamet or David
Mamet. Excuse me. He was he was in the writers program.
Yeah, he was a cab driver.
Wait, hold on.
He had to get
Tom
over.
Arnold. Tom Arnold.
Oh, there's a great thespian.
Tom Brokaw went there.
Also a good actor. Mamet, just on Mamet for a second, because I'm a big Mamet fan.
Oh, are you?
Oh, huge Mamet
Oh, I
fan.
met him. He came to speak in our lit class.
We had him on the show when he wrote The Secret Knowledge, after he wrote The Secret Knowledge a few years ago now. We should try and get him on this show.
Why don't we
again.
get? Yeah,
It'd be fun. But Mamet was a cab driver. He had to shed his Iowa education and
That is so. What do you mean?
and kind of go through the hard knocks of driving a cab to discover those writing skills. So I don't think Iowa gets credit for Mamet.
But no, he went to the summer writing program. That's why after he was a cab driver.
I know that he
And
had
that's where
that
he
had
honed
to,
those
that he had to
skills.
unlearn all that.
Oh, we stop it. Also, he was an Alpha AE Pi. Gene Wilder was at Iowa. Isn't that exciting?
That's it's
really good.
fascinating factoids.
But he's from Milwaukee. I know people ripped on me because I said he was from Iowa, but he went to University of Iowa.
Was AE Pi a popular fraternity on the campus?
No, but it was popular and it stayed there because Gene Wilder was an AE Pi.
Gene Wilder didn't strike me as like a BMOC type, you know.
No, he was yeah.
Not at the time.
Not at the time.
Maybe
yes.
you know he's but anyway. So you're since Amy kicked it off, we'll take your Gene Wilder impersonations or impersonations of any other characters in Gene Wilder movies. So
for the producers, Blazing Saddles.
Later on, we'll do Stir Crazy. I'll do Richard Pryor. You do Gene Wilder.
We have to get our chicken costumes on.
It's a real tribute to the memory of Gene Wilder. We'll come back now, the Alpha and the
Yes.
Omega. Now we'll come back and talk about a couple that didn't make it.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, his fourth wife, her name is Karen Boyer.
Hey, everybody else is just an understudy. Gilda's his wife.
Okay. Here's your forecast for today. Mostly cloudy, warm and humid, a shower or thunderstorm around in the afternoon, a high of 83 degrees. Then tonight, a shower or thunderstorm. And for Wednesday, not as warm. It's we're going to have some clouds giving way to sun, a lot less humid, a high only in the mid-70s. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Tri-State Tollway northbound at the Surbac Toll Plaza. There's a crash. 2 right lanes are blocked in the cash tolling lanes. And there's the Reagan Tollway westbound 88 west of Yackley. 3 left lanes are blocked there with a crash. Eastbound traffic moves pretty well. Elsewhere right now on the roads, things are looking great. Overnight roadwork has cleared. Traffic elsewhere is moving nicely. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-550-8804. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter New Biotics makes your belly. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-550-8804. That's 1-800-550-8804. 1-800-550-8804.
AM 560, The Answer.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Did this movie scare you, Dan, when you were a child?
No.
Really? A lot of people were freaked out. Do you know this was a box office flop? And it only came to life and became a cultural phenomenon after it aired on ABC.
Yeah.
A few times. And it was must-watch TV.
And then,
every year you had to watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And then Johnny Depp did a creepy remake of it.
Oh, yeah, and ruined it.
Remembering Gene Wilder all morning, your Gene Wilder impersonations or memories. Amy and I are going to do Putting on the Ritz a little bit later, where I'll do Peter Boyle and she'll do Dr. Frankenstein. But we must get to this, Amy. A relationship that's gone limp.
Oh, see, I bet you've been waiting all morning to say that.
Well, also
That's a great tease.
take your wiener jokes all morning. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. It's going to be tough to beat Drudge. Did you see the Drudge headline?
No, what was it?
It was Uma and Hillary in matching outfits.
Yeah.
Like the Bobbsey twins, with the headline, Uma's had enough wiener.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's pretty good.
But I mean, I didn't see it coming because she stayed with him the 2 other times. And you saw that documentary.
Yeah.
And they captured the moment when she realized that he was sexting again while he was running for mayor. And you could see the pain on her face and just the sheer annoyance. So I think this is better off for her personally. But I really think that she should take time off the campaign to be with her son. Because clearly the person that has been babysitting, or not babysitting because he's the father, you don't babysit when you're a father, but the person who's been the stay-at-home parent, not doing a good job. Because that picture of him next to his dad with an erection in his pants, I mean, that is child abuse in my mind. That's abuse. Anybody agree with me?
Please, note the time is up. It's 5:22. Erection has been called at 5:22 this morning.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Seriously, that picture, he should be, if that was a woman in that picture, scantily clad and showing body parts, that baby would be taken away. But since it's Anthony Weiner, I don't know why their version of Department of Children and Family Services hasn't come in and take the kid away. He's a 5-year-old boy. He's going to be scarred for life from that picture. And that's always going to come up on the playground, everywhere. Look what your dad did when he was raising you, buddy.
The last time...
What?
The last time I saw a kid pictured with his dad's junk that many times, his name was Lamont Sanford. Did you see what I did there?
I see what you did there. That's pretty good for you.
Thank you very much.
But Uma Abedin, she's been, she's always stood by her man and said that they're going to work through this.
You are no longer in.
Hold on.
What I want to say is, I love him. I have forgiven him.
Mm-hmm.
That was back when he was running for mayor.
Right, after the second sex scandal.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Yeah, but then he went on with Savannah Guthrie and said, no, really, I'm done sexting.
You are no longer engaging in that kind of behavior.
Yes, I did tell you that.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and he's looking down anywhere but at the reporter while he's answering the question because he's lying.
He's a sociopath.
Okay.
So, yeah. He's a
But he should know better.
He's a left-wing, shrill sociopath, and so she.
Yeah, but Donald Trump commenting about this, making this a political issue. Do you know his comment yesterday was?
Yeah, it's worried about.
He's worried about
Anthony Weiner having access to sensitive information. They don't want to tweet it out in his pants.
No, yeah, the access to foreign, certain policy issues.
Yeah,
and
sensitive information, right? Because
because
Uma has access to it.
I understand that, but I don't think Uma is sharing that with Anthony Weiner. I think Donald Trump should seriously, once again, sit this one out. This has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton and bad choices that she's made. My God, Uma Abedin is like a second daughter to her. She started out as a White House intern 20 years ago. That's how long they've been together. So
what are you writing a soap opera with these two?
No,
so
no,
what?
I'm saying Donald Trump shouldn't get involved in this.
Uma Abedin is a co-enabler of Hillary Clinton. Uma Abedin was over at State Department flacking for all these donors that we've talked about, doing all of Hillary Clinton's dirty work. What are you talking about?
But this is a personal matter between her and her husband.
She was an intern and she rose through the ranks, and it's such a wonderful, flowery story. She's just a capo in the Clinton crime family. What are you talking about? Oh, poor Uma Abedin. This is the life she chose, isn't it?
This is the man
husband
she chose
and re-chose and stood by when he ran for mayor of New York and had the seminal press conference. Seminal.
Thank you.
Where she said, I forgave him, and that was Uma coming out of the shadows because she doesn't like the spotlight. And if you watch the Weiner documentary, which I've seen, I thought it was going to be something else. You will see her making phone calls for Anthony Weiner, making fundraising calls, falling in line. She finds the thing distasteful. You can kind of see it on her face. This is who she chose and continued to choose, And it's the same thing with her weird relationship with Hillary Clinton. I don't have any. Well, why should I have sympathy for or even empathy for Uma Abedin? This is another criminal.
But to attack for Donald Trump to say it's another example of bad judgment for Hillary because she's associated with her, she's been with her for 20 years. She was with her long before she met the wiener, and she'll be with him long after he's gone out of the picture. Yes. But I don't mean to attack Hillary Clinton for Abedin's separation from Anthony Weiner. I think is a stretch, and he should sit this one.
I wonder if she got marriage counseling from Hillary.
Well, Bill Clinton. No, President Bill Clinton married them, and he did sit down with them before they got married.
It's funny. You would think with that great karma of President Bill Clinton presiding over their marriage that it.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Could only
folks,
go
really?
swimmingly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nothing to see here.
It's another related story on Uma.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wanted to read her press release.
Yeah, and we're going to work on the marriage. It's a sad day, and we're going to focus on the kid and all the pro forma statements you expect to hear from a political hack. 3 months into her term as Secretary of State, two of Hillary Clinton's top aides bluntly called her indiscriminate release of her private email address outrageous and unbelievable. This from an email chain obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. This is so unbelievable she should not be giving her email to everyone, said a frustrated Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills, April 3, 2009. Don't get me started, said Uma. Personally, I think it's outrageous. They're so outraged by their boss's conduct and the implications of her boss's conduct. What do they do about it? Right. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Another fine example of Amy being totally out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you think that it's a stretch that Trump is saying something about Uma and this guy Weiner was a complete jackass? Okay, first of all, it's Hillary and this Uma girl is more than a daughter-love relationship. There's something serious going on between the two. And how is this different from Harry Reid saying that Trump is working with the Russians to steal the votes of people? It's so incredible, and you're worried about what Trump is saying about Harry Weiner. Why do you think... I mean, don't you think it's a stretch that Weiner wasn't stealing or looking at Uma's emails and stuff and all the state secrets? The guy is a creep.
He was, thanks for the call. He was too busy looking at his own pictures in the mirror.
And Ed, just so you know, Anthony Weiner, Donald Trump donated to his campaign when he ran for Congress. So, but he did. Trump came out and said Uma's making a very wise decision. I know Anthony Weiner well, and she'll be far better off without him.
First a Gene Wilder, now we have a Donald Trump impersonation today. Boy, you're really breaking out your full repertoire.
My thespian inside of me.
Chip in St. Charles.
Yeah, Anthony Weiner is your typical gun control politician. That's all I've got to say.
I'm not sure I can. Wait, I don't know if I can connect those dots.
But the last caller said his name wrong. He said Harry instead of Anthony.
Well, I think he was doing a portmanteau between Harry Reid and Anthony Weiner.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean? You know what he's trying to do?
Oh.
Anthony Reid. That's what he was trying.
That's right.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade, so many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common: Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online masterfencerental.com.
Rolling hills and beautiful prairie views. You can take it all in when you play golf at Golf Club of Illinois in Algonquin. Play at one of the finest golf courses in Illinois with a special seasonal deal from ChicagoRadioDeals.com. The Golf Club of Illinois is a classic link-style course featuring high grasses, treacherous sand bunkers, and strategically placed mounds on each hole. This course is a stern test for all skill levels and is consistently ranked among the top 10 public courses to play by Chicagoland Golf. Find out why Golf Club of Illinois is a secret favorite for those looking for a unique, challenging round of golf. So play with your favorite foursome of golf buddies for only $95. That includes cart and is usually almost a $200 deal. So it's a great deal. Or for the dedicated golfer, tee up the preferred player membership, normally $380, only $165. And that includes discounted rates for rounds of golf, cart, and 2 bonus rounds of golf during the 2016 season. For more deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
what Jesse Jackson Sr. once had to say about a certain Republican presidential nominee at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go, and good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 75 degrees, storms on the way. Forecasters and residents alike are keeping an eye on 2 tropical storms in the Atlantic and the Gulf. Tropical Depression 8 on track to dump heavy rain and pound the outer banks of North Carolina. Central Pacific Hurricane Center issuing a hurricane watch for the Big Island of Hawaii as Hurricane Madeline closes in on that island. The storm should be near or over the Big Island by Wednesday. Florida holding an important primary today. Implications for both the House and the Senate, as Marco Rubio holds a wide lead over Republican challengers for his seat. At least 7 of Florida's 27 U.S. House members will be newly elected because of members retiring or seeking other political office. Police at Virginia Tech are taking a threatening email seriously. Campus police reportedly investigating an email sent to dozens of addresses through Facebook warning of a mass killing on campus this week. A national report that Arizona's voter database was hacked is apparently overblown, according to Secretary of State Michelle Reagan. She says a computer in a rural county downloaded a virus back in June, which may have made it vulnerable to hackers.
Fortunately, we were alerted that this particular computer had downloaded a virus, and because that computer had access to the voter database, we took the entire voter database offline.
Reagan says experts spend days going through the system with a fine-tooth comb. Reactions are pouring in from around the sports world over Colin Kaepernick's decision to sit during the national anthem following his first-round victory at the U.S. Open tennis tournament. American tennis player John Isner didn't mince words.
Yeah, I thought that was pathetic from him. I don't the cause he was going for, fine by me, but don't do it in that fashion.
49er quarterback says he will remain sitting during the anthem as a protest over the oppression of people of color. Actor Gene Wilder is dead at the age of 83. Wilder appeared in several movies, including the title role in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Illinois election officials say they are confident no voter data was compromised this summer when a hacker was able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. Mayor Emanuel vowing disciplinary action, changes in training following an encounter between Chicago police and local rapper Rhyme Fest. Chase Smith took to Twitter this weekend to complain about how he was treated by officers while trying to report a mugging on Saturday. Cubs over Pittsburgh 8-7 and 13. Tigers beat the White Sox 4-3. The news service of Amtrak. Great memories are made on trains. Experience travel the way it should be. Go from Chicago to Denver for $94 with Amtrak Saver Fares. Book now at Amtrak.com/SaverFares and see where the train can take you. Restrictions apply. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's back. The biggest conservative event in the Midwest returns this October. It's Freedom Summit Chicago 2016, October 29th in Itasca, featuring Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Mike Gallagher, Stephen Moore, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Joe Walsh, and many more. Tickets start at just $29. Order your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists, and by the Illinois Policy Institute.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test from my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
I'm Pete. I just launched my first company. Thanks to Custom Ink, I can get my name out there with custom t-shirts, jackets, and polos. I just uploaded my logo online, and with a few easy steps, I had my crew covered in no time.
For all of life's events, choose Custom Ink. Promote your own business and elevate your brand with custom business apparel from Custom Ink. It's easy and fun to make a statement with Custom Ink's online design lab. Your designs, quality products, free shipping. Start designing for your business today at customink.com.
5:36. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center this morning. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Reagan Tollway westbound traffic is now jammed from 53 to past Yackley, where a crash has 3 left lanes blocked. Northbound Tri-State at the Cermak Toll Plaza, there's a crash in the cash lanes. 2 right lanes are blocked there. Inbound Ryan has delays from 95th to 83rd and Cermak to the Burn Circle. 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford really slow from 111th to Ryan. 23 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Traffic is a service of Illinois Partners for Clean Air. With today's cars, idling your engine for just 10 seconds wastes more gas and money than stopping and restarting your car. Learn to breathe easy, save easy with Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, warm, and humid. Showers and storms moving through the area this morning, and there is also heavy fog this morning in spots. High 83 later today, and a low of 68 overnight. Currently, 74 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Master Fence Rental, keeping your event or work site safe. Visit masterfencerental.com.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. That's my
right,
Peter
that was
Boyle impersonation.
Really bad. We're going to have to work on that.
You listen to Peter Boyle here, and you tell me if that doesn't match up. That's pretty good. I can also do him as Ray's father in Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh,
I can also
okay.
do an impersonation of Peter Boyle in that role as well.
So I was just learning that Gene Wilder wasn't Mel Brooks' first choice for Blazing Saddles.
You know
to play
who it
Waco
was?
Kid. Who was it?
And he told this story. I was telling you about Mel Brooks being in town just a couple months ago at the Chicago Theater, doing a screening of Blazing Saddles, then doing about an hour of telling stories and answering some audience questions, too.
Did you ask a question?
It was fantastic. I did raise my hand with a question, but it didn't get to me.
Oh, sorry. Just like Bozo Buckets. You thought you were there and you didn't get on to do the grand prize game.
That wound has not healed. Yeah. So the first choice.
Wait, really quick. Your cousin took your spot.
Yeah, that's right.
For Bozo Buckets.
Yeah.
But the arrow was pointed at you.
That's right. And I would have
And he pushed you back. And
I would have won the grand prize game, and everybody knows it.
How many buckets did he get, by the way?
4.
Oh, he didn't get to
Lame.
6. Loser. That's
right. I'm
going to tell him that. What's your cousin's name, by the way?
It's being withheld.
Okay, fine.
Tom was his name.
All right, Tom.
So
All
anyway,
right, so back to Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Who was actually going to play the Waco Kid? Who did Mel Brooks want his first choice? John Wayne.
Oh, no.
He did. He wanted John Wayne.
John Wayne?
And he sent John Wayne the script, and John Wayne said to Mel Brooks, he said, Mel, I love the script, but my fans would kill me if I did this movie.
Oh,
You
it
know,
would have ruined his image, I think.
well, I don't know. It was a different time, and to show that kind of range, it would have been interesting to see John Wayne as the Waco Kid. But
It would have been awful. I like John Wayne. I'm glad he decided not to do it.
Yeah, but I love the idea. It's such a counterintuitive casting idea for Mel Brooks. That's why he's such a genius. That would have been hysterical if, but I shoot with this hand from John Wayne, or how fast am I? And that would have been pretty funny. But anyway.
We're talking about morons.
Gene Wilder.
If you know what I mean.
You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. You know. Morons.
And then Cleavon Little laughing. That's just classic.
And I'll tell you, one of the big questions, and Mel Brooks gets this question all the time, could Blazing Saddles have been made today?
Oh.
The parody and, the use of the N-word and so forth. I don't know.
Think so.
I don't know.
What did he say when people asked Mel Brooks that question?
He kind of hedges on it. I think he's skeptical that it could be made today. I think he's skeptical.
I think there'd be so much outrage and people on social media. And
you know what's interesting about this too?
It.
I want to get to Jesse Jackson, but I guess this is an entree.
Yeah.
So I made the Sanford and Son joke about Wiener.
Yeah.
So let me tie these two together nicely, because it's what I do. Sanford and Son. You watch Sanford and Son growing up, right?
Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth.
It's the big one.
I actually watched it when I was on vacation.
So
an episode of it just to reacquaint myself with it.
So Red Fox was this great stand-up comedian as well, and his act was blue, right? I mean, he did kind of off-color jokes and stuff when he was a stand-up comedian. But that was a primetime show,
right?
Like a primetime family show on
appointment television. It was on at 7:00, I think, on CBS.
Yeah, and so during the week. So your kids are on the. And somebody was telling me, do you remember, because we were talking about this, do you remember the use of the N-word on Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
And I said, that never happened. That's crazy. There's no way just 30 years ago they were using the N-word on primetime television, primetime network television. You go to YouTube and you look up the clips, and Ann Esther uses it, and Fred Sanford uses it. It's jarring. It's jarring to see in a sketch. Like, look at all these, and the N-word being, that happened. That's 30 years ago. That happened. I don't know. It's just wild. It's just wild to think about. So the parody, I mean, Mel Brooks has the standing to make any movie he wants, and people know there is nothing but love coming from his heart. So maybe Mel Brooks could get away with it, but I think few could. Few could do any kind of parody that involved racial politics. We're just so kind of over the top, hypersensitive about these things. But it wasn't always the case. Jesse Jackson Sr.
My good friend.
Yeah, your good buddy.
My buddy.
Jesse Jackson Sr., he of, Rainbow Push Coalition.
Oh, yeah. I've been there many times Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
they have a standing press conference at 10 a.m.
Back in the late 90s, one of his rackets, Jesse Jackson Sr., was to have this Wall Street project so he could shake down big banks and others with resources.
Donations to Rainbow Push?
Well, that's what he does, shakes people down. He had a guest.
He's just asking, Dan.
He had a guest both in 1998 and 1999 at the Wall Street Project conference that he hosted, that Rainbow Push hosted.
Yeah.
Let Jesse Jackson introduce you to his guest at the 1998 Wall Street Project Rainbow Push Coalition conference.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand.
Let's give Donald Trump a big hand.
Looky there.
A big hand for Donald Trump.
So when did Donald Trump become a racist? Because now he's a racist. So when did that happen? If he wasn't a racist 18 years ago, when was the moment that he became one? When he started running as a Republican? Could that be the moment?
When he said he wants to build a wall and throw illegals out of here. I think maybe that's when people started labeling him as a racist.
Does that make it right? I mean, that's the people you're talking about, Democrats, because this is what Democrats do. And Bill McGurn as he usually does, has a good piece on topic in yesterday's Wall Street Journal. Hillary Clinton's KKK smear. You know, that ad she's running with, like,
I saw it
give me a break. Give me a break. Like, so I asked this question last week. So if Donald Trump has to be held to account to answer for everyone supporting him for whatever reason, he has to respond to that. Does Hillary Clinton have to respond to the Orlando shooter's father or respond to the nation? Why is the Orlando shooter's father a Taliban sympathizer supporting you?
Great point. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
But to McGurn's point, it doesn't matter who you are. And this is what some of the kind of Vichy Republicans need to understand. Mitt Romney, John McCain, George W. Bush, they're all racist. They're all part of this hate group called the Republican Party. This is every cycle, rinse and repeat. In 2000, McGurn recounts, the NAACP had recruited the gruesome murder of James Byrd to imply that then Governor Bush was sympathetic to lynching a black man. Over footage, and I remember this ad, over footage of a chain being dragged by a pickup truck, Mr. Byrne's daughter says, so when Governor George W. Bush refused to support hate crimes legislation, it was like my father was killed all over again. This is what Democrats do. In 2008, McCain warned that Republicans would scare people by saying, you know, he doesn't look like all those other presidents on those dollar bills. Mr. Obama, the McCain campaign fired back, saying Obama was playing the race card. All the reporters hearing dog whistles from Republicans didn't hear this one. This is Barack Obama warning that Republicans would scare people by saying, you know, he doesn't look like all those other presidents on those dollar bills. No Republican said that. John McCain didn't say that, but it was Barack Obama projecting on John McCain and Republicans what they think, playing the race card. 2012, Mitt Romney went to the NAACP, told them face-to-face about his opposition to Obamacare, and the stories were all about how he was just trolling for the racist vote. Joe Biden put it more explicitly, you'll recall, the infamously, in a way only Biden can, telling a black audience that if Mr. Romney were to win, he put you all back in chains.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it doesn't help.
Wait a second, though. McCain, Romney, it doesn't matter. This is the left's playbook. You're a Republican. You hate black people. You hate Latinos. You hate anybody that's not a descendant whose descendants didn't come over on the Mayflower. It's nonsense. It's the card they always play because they have no other cards to play. And because it unfortunately fans the insecurities of certain constituent groups that they hold dominion over. And so it serves their political interests. But it's cynical and it's disgusting and it's wrong.
But what doesn't help the Republican Party is when you have Trump surrogates such as Pastor Mark Burns, who tweeted out a picture of Hillary in blackface. He had a cartoon with her. And then you have David Duke, who's running for Senate, making robocalls on behalf of Donald Trump. That doesn't help. David
Duke,
he's just great.
Is David Duke? Is he a surrogate? Is he a part of the Trump campaign? No. So what David Duke does or doesn't do, how is Donald Trump supposed to control that any more than Hillary Clinton controlled?
Should he come out and denounce him and say, I don't?
And he has said that. He said, I don't want the votes of white supremacists. What more is he supposed to do any more than Hillary Clinton should have to come out and respond to everything that the Orlando shooter's father does in her name in support of her in affiliating with the Democrat Party, as he said he did at the rally, after the rally that he attended for her in Florida? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, but what about Pastor Burns, who's an advocate? He's supposed to try and attract the African-American vote. He's a black pastor, and last night he came out and apologized for putting that cartoon out of her.
That it didn't even need an apology. Hillary Clinton in dreadlocks, I'll be back in 4 years, trying to highlight the cynicism of the Democrats of what I just said. Every year they come in with these old tropes that the Republicans are racist, so stick with us and another 4 years. And how is it going for you Democrat constituent groups that are not the limousine liberals on the North Shore and places like that? How's it going for African-American families and Latino families in our urban centers? Good? Great? Good schools? Safe neighborhoods? Democrats control everything. And you want to talk about an internet meme that just is trying to highlight the hypocrisy of Hillary Clinton and the left, that they just come around every 2 years or 4 years for your votes and they could give a rat's ass about you. And their policies are worse. Their policies are worse than uncaring. They're actively destructive. So, all of this race baiting, by the Democrats. I'm just tired of it. And you go back to even Trump, and frankly, from my perspective as a conservative, the fact that Trump got along so well with Jesse Jackson 20 years ago, that's not a positive, but it certainly says Jesse Jackson Sr., the arbiter of who's a racist and who is not, according to the left-white media for the last 40 years. He didn't have a problem with Trump. So when did he become a racist?
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
All right, so if you like heat and humidity, enjoy today because we're going to have some changes around here. Today, a high of 83 degrees. We can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then tomorrow, not as warm. Clouds giving away to some sun, but it's going to be a lot less humid. A high only in the mid-70s. Let's get the travel times. How's the tri-state northbound? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. That has cooled off nicely. There was earlier a crash at the Cermak Toll Plaza. It's gone now. All lanes are open. The delays have dissipated. As usual at this hour, it's starting to get a little heavy farther north around 290. Reagan Tollway, westbound. That's improving, too. There was a crash past Yackley, which had 3 lanes blocked. They've all reopened. It's still a bit slow from 53 to past Yackley. Edens and the Kennedy are still good. Inbound Eisenhower slowed Manheim to first. 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound all clear. The Stevenson, 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes from 8094 to the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Want to see what you'd look like if you had a flatter belly? Now's your chance, because for a limited time, we're giving away free trials of Somabiotics, the new discovery that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry and call now while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-906-9985. Strict limit of 1 free trial per household. These free trials are reserved for anyone, male or female, who's looking for maximum belly flattening in minimum time. Somabiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Want to see what you'd look like with a flatter belly? Now's your chance. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving these trials of Somabiotics away for free. 1-800-906-9985. That's 1-800-906-9985. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-906-9985.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, did you see the story about Illinois getting hacked And Arizona did too, and they've got a primary today. The election authorities getting hacked. Illinois, say the hack yielded information on Illinois State Election Board, saying the hack here yielded information on 200,000 voters.
Yeah, but what are they going to? I mean, what kind of information did they learn, and is it a big deal?
Yeah, it's a big deal to be hacked because the system's compromised. Most of the voter information is public information anyway, in terms of voting history and that sort of thing. But the key is,
can I pull up your voting history?
You can. Well, you can. You can. It's FOIA-able,
right?
And I have a statewide voter file. I can see everybody's voting history. You can say the system. But
in the general or just in the primaries?
No, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
A spokesman for the State Board of Elections said the system was compromised, but we're confident nothing was added, deleted, or altered. So the real issue is not seeing information that's otherwise a public record, but it's manipulating that information somehow, changing it in a material way. But now this is registered voters. I'd be a lot more concerned if they hacked into the comptroller's office and got a listing of, all the people at the various cemeteries.
Oh, that's right, who are registered to vote.
Because that's, those records. I want to make sure that their franchise isn't lost come November 8th.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text LEARN to 42424. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, text LEARN to 42424. Again, that's LEARN to 42424.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. Now, I've done the research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues, Dennis Prager and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106th out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. Now, that demand helps sell your home fast at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I was selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd definitely call Saul. 888-346-0666 or call Saul, SAUL.net. Call Saul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
From executive producer LeBron James.
I need this, like yesterday.
Cleveland entrepreneurs get a chance to compete for their shot at success.
That will be a game changer for me and our business.
I believe your hustle is going to make this happen. We got work to do now.
It's hard work, but it's totally worth it.
Cleveland Hustles. Premiere episode tomorrow at 10.
Everybody can have great ideas, but you have what it takes in here.
Only on CNBC.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to purewater411.com. That's purewater411.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Okay, will more NFLers follow Kaepernick's example at 6:06?
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, state voter registrations reportedly hacked. A Harvey official accused in a sexual assault. And WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Our foreign hackers
wanting to have a say on Election Day. The FBI is worried about that. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid is asking the FBI to look into whether Russia may try to interfere with a presidential election. In a letter to FBI head James Comey, Reid said recent classified briefings have him worried that Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to throw the election. Yahoo News has reported that hackers, possibly from Russia or Iran, recently compromised election systems in Illinois and Arizona. Reid says it's vital to check any complicit intermediaries between the Russian government, the leakers, and any U.S. citizen. Dave.
Rachel, the polls are just opening in Florida. It's primary day. Republican Senator Marco Rubio, who failed in his run for president, has 4 challengers. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz faces an opponent backed by Bernie Sanders. She resigned as Democratic National Committee chairwoman over emails showing the party favored Hillary Clinton over Sanders. An update for Apple. The tech giant may need to upload a lot of money to Ireland. Fox's Simon Owens live in our European bureau.
Dave, the European Union ruling that Ireland has been handing Apple illegal tax benefits.
This effective tax rate dropped to as little as 0.0005%.
EU Competition Commissioner Margrethe Vestager saying the Irish government must now recoup back taxes that could exceed $14 billion. That penalty is thought to be a record by some stretch, at least in terms of cases declared publicly. Apple and Ireland both saying they'll appeal. Dave?
Simon, it's about to be stormy in 3 states. Depressions expected to grow into tropical storms are closing in on North Carolina and Florida's Gulf Coast, while Hurricane Madeline will pass by Hawaii's Big Island in the next day or two. Hurricane Lester could hit Hawaii later in the week. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, and we have storms crossing the area. Some heavy fog as well at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Illinois election officials say they're confident no voter data was compromised this summer when hackers may have been able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. State election websites in Arizona and Illinois experienced hack-related shutdowns earlier this summer. Arizona says their system is clean. The Illinois Systems hacker was able to get some information that could include driver's license or portions of Social Security numbers. Any affected voter will be notified. A city employee and school board member in Harvey is accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Tyrone Rogers was charged yesterday with aggravated criminal sexual assault after his arrest on Saturday night. The murder of Dwayne Wade's cousin is amping up the call for tougher sentencing in the state. AM 560's David Stewart with more.
2 paroled gun offenders are charged with shooting 32-year-old Nikea Aldridge, a mother of 4 who was a cousin of Chicago Bulls star Dwayne Wade. She was shot on the street Friday while pushing one of her children in a stroller. Mayor Emanuel says there must be longer sentences for repeat gun offenders.
You have a mother who's trying to enroll her children at school. The family and those kids have rights too. The law has to change.
He supports a bill sponsored by State Senator Kwame Raoul that's expected to be considered this fall. David Stewart, Chicago.
The former Chicago transportation official has been sentenced to 10 years in prison, convicted of taking bribes to steer $100 million in red light camera contracts to a company in Phoenix. John Bills was sentenced yesterday and spoke to reporters after leaving the courtroom.
Today's a very extremely tough day, and I'm going to move ahead from this. I'm a better man and a stronger man for going through this. There's work for me to do, and I will do that.
The former second in command at Chicago's Department of Transportation was convicted in January. An autopsy is scheduled today for a man who died after being pulled from Lake Michigan on Chicago's north side. Police say emergency crews found Ricardo Salvana in water yesterday about 100 yards off Montrose Beach. Cubs over Pittsburgh 8-7 in 13. Tigers over the White Sox 4-3. Tyler Saladino drove in all 3 of the White Sox runs. The News is a service of Bank of America. Want cash back at Costco, Sam's Club, and BJ's today? Use your Bank Americard Cash Rewards Visa credit card. Earn 2% cash back at wholesale clubs. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/getcashback. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? They're
not exciting after using Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. I was able to get a completely online custom mortgage approval in minutes.
All right, you cut out for sure this time. Did you say I can get a mortgage approval in minutes?
That's right, Control. Minutes. Whether you're purchasing a new house or refinancing your existing home, Rocket Mortgage securely pulls your pay stubs and bank statements to build you a custom mortgage solution so you get exactly what you want.
Wow, that is exciting.
Yep, definitely better than months of dehydrated ice cream and powdered orange drink.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
6:06. Let's check our roads. We've had some flash flooding, especially across southwest McHenry County overnight and this morning. And let's see what the situation is now in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Well, Mike, northwest of Chicago, we have a crash causing delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway I-90. It's stop and go from Higgins and Hoffman Estates to before Roselle Road. It's due to actually a stall blocking the left lane there. There's some road work in the left lane from 25 to the Fox River. No delay westbound.
Night, low tomorrow night, 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 5.
Kaepernick brought attention to something that by and large folks had better recognize the black community is feeling very, very adamant about.
Maybe you should find a country that works better for him. Let him try. It won't happen.
What I want to say is I love him. I have forgiven him.
You are no longer engaging in that kind of behavior.
Yes, I did tell you that.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, day 2, at least in the work week here, of the Colin Kaepernick story and the fallout from it. Colin Kaepernick, of course, the San Francisco quarterback who failed to stand for the national anthem
3 times during 3 different preseason games.
But over the weekend is when notice was taken, and he spoke out about why he is not doing it. And he said in no uncertain terms that he's not going to stand for the national anthem until the flag represents what it's supposed to represent and not what it represents now, according to Colin Kaepernick, which is a country where people are getting away with murder and being put on paid. Eagles linebacker Tavares said, "We got an issue in this country in this day and age, and I feel like somebody needs to step up, and we all need to step up. We've got that right. There's just a lot going on that people don't want to talk about, and I feel like us as athletes, we're looked at as role models."
But don't they understand that their, racial injustice that they're alleging, that gets lost in the message when they refuse to stand up for the national anthem? Because everyone's focusing on the fact that they're being disrespectful to our country and that they're sitting down. So I just feel like their message is not coming through.
Tavares, you may I refer you to Charles Barkley, who said you're not a role model. And I don't know, this is about as cogent as Colin Kaepernick's remarks. Somebody needs to step up, and we all need to step up. There's just a lot people don't want to talk about. Talk about everything. All we do is talk. We talk about this obsessively. It dominates media outlets from television to print to the web. It's obsessive.
I know, but
we're obsessive about it.
But these jock athletes, they don't understand that there's a process that you go through if there's a police-involved shooting. And sometimes, yes, you are on paid administrative leave because those are the rules that were set up for that municipality.
It's called a collective bargaining agreement. It's called a contract, like they play under.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
but they don't know that.
Yeah, well,
someone needs to sit them down.
They're not. This is not exactly. These are not social policy experts. These are not people who have given a lot of thought or done much in the way of scholarship on any issue, much less. They're supposed to be the truth sayers, and they're going to give it to you straight. There are all the guys on the couches watching these guys. It's a joke. Listen to Stephen A. Smith talking about Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter, for that matter.
Colin Kaepernick brought attention to something that by and large folks had better recognize the black community is feeling very, very adamant about. He was talking about police brutality. He's obviously a staunch supporter of Black Lives Matter. And though some people may disagree with some of the actions we've seen of few folks who represent Black Lives Matter in terms of how they've conducted themselves, by and large, the attention brought to the issue is something that's undeniable. The need for the attention brought to this issue is absolutely undeniable.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter. A few bad apples in Black Lives Matter, I guess.
A few. It's a paid group. They make money.
I don't know. Pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon. Should we go through D. Ray McKesson's finances? Should we talk about Sean King's fraud? But I mean, I understand Stephen Smith. And by the way, the black community too is this monolith. Black Lives Matter is the black community. Is it? I don't know. You know what I'd like to hear from? I'd like to hear from the black entrepreneur, the black doctor, the black lawyer, professional in any other field of endeavor. I'd like to hear from, a black tradesman who, the people that work for a living, are productive, are successful. The black educator, not in academia, because, they're off the rails. I mean, everyone in academia.
Okay.
Just about. I'm just going to say academia.
Be careful.
No, I don't need to be careful. I don't need to be careful. I'm not going to be careful because I have no fear of what's in my heart. So that's why I can talk honestly about race without any inhibition. And this is where we need to get to. As Walter Williams said, white people need to stop being so dumb in terms of talking about race and being so afraid to just engage and talk to people like people. And that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And Stephen A. Smith goes on to say, this is where Stephen A. Smith middles the issue like David Haw did in a Tribune today.
I'm not going to say I love it because I would have found a different means of doing it, but I'm not going to hate on him for it either. He's conscientious enough. Studied enough. He wanted to bring attention to it. He didn't drop any bombs on anybody. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't harm anybody. He made a quiet, personal protest. And for people to react this way in an incendiary fashion, I'm going to agree with my man Sean King for the New York Daily News when he pointed out that's their problem. That's not Colin Kaepernick's problem.
Your man's a fraud. He's not African-American, Sean King.
Well, here's the thing about what Stephen A. Smith said. He made this silent, quiet protest, this contemplative protest.
Yeah, it was a contemplative moment on the sidelines.
It was the Tommy Smith, John Carlos Black Power salute. No, it wasn't, because then he spoke about it, and he spoke ignorantly about it. He's not conscientious. He's not studied Stephen A. Smith. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And this was the response that was the substantive response to what he had to say from the San Francisco Police Officers Association. He didn't know what he was talking about. It's not conscientious. It's not intelligent. It's not thoughtful. And he wants people to take sides. That's why he spoke out. And when you have somebody that is in the public eye, like a quarterback in the NFL is, and somebody that's been a very successful quarterback, and that's why he's got a $100 million plus contract in the NFL, people are going to take notice when he has to say something about on a topic that everybody talks about, which is race.
But doesn't it seem like he's
forced to talk about
he's
it.
late to the party here on this one? I mean, shouldn't this, if he was going to take a stand, shouldn't this have been last year? But since last year and this year, what happened to him? He's found a new girlfriend who's a Black Lives Matter advocate, talk show host in San Francisco, and he might be converting to the not Nation of Islam, but Muslim.
Yeah, we mentioned this yesterday. There's reports that his girlfriend, I think it's fiancée, but whatever, is a Black Lives Matter activist, as you said, and that he converted. That's not confirmed, but there have been reports to that effect. Stephen A. Smith said this about Kaepernick's protest, though.
It's not the ideal way in which to do it, but what we must applaud to Colin Kaepernick more so than anything else, he personified what a protest is supposed to be.
Did he personify what a protest is supposed to be? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Did Colin Kaepernick personify what a protest is supposed to be? And this starts from the baseline. Why do we even have to say this? I mean, these guys devote all this bloviating and all these column inches, as David Haw did in the Tribune, to saying the obvious. Of course he has the right to say what he said and whatever else he wants to say. Of course he does. This is not a question of free expression. His free expression begets more expression right back at him. So of course he has the right to say it. That's not the issue. The issue is he correct? Or even if he isn't correct, is he advancing the conversation to a productive place?
The message is lost because now we're all focused on him being unpatriotic, him being un-American and sitting down during the national anthem.
We'll take your calls after this.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's pouring out there. There's some thunder and some lightning on your way to work this morning. And later there will be some heat and humidity. We're going to have a high today of 83 degrees and also an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Tonight, partly cloudy with a chance of a shower. And then tomorrow, not as warm and a lot less humid. A high only in the mid-70s. Let's get those travel times. I'm sure it's a mess out there. Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's getting heavier in a hurry, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Tri-State northbound, stop and go from the Stevenson to 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway, that's tied up from around Higgins to near Roselle. That's due to a stall blocking the left lane. Reagan Tollway, slow 83 to the Tri-State. Edens, 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 19, the Kennedy. 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 24. The Eisenhower is now 47 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 43. The Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 28 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. Jim Talamonte of the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I've been taking the Balance of Nature fruits and veggie capsules for many years. What hooked me was something I wasn't expecting. I was playing golf with one of my friends, and midway through the round, he looks over at me and says, "What's going on here? You're killing me. Did you get new clubs or something?" It dawned on me that the only thing I'm doing different is taking Balance of Nature. I've been a 15 handicap golfer for a long time. 3 months after I started taking the fruits and veggies, I started dropping strokes off my handicap. Even my sons noticed I was playing better. I told them, when I started getting enough fruits and veggies in my diet, I felt better. Better concentration, better swing. When you feel better, you play better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Joe Walsh here. I am really excited to announce the official launch of the Million Constitution Challenge. We the People Prince, along with the generosity of my good friends at Uline, have a goal to put a museum-quality print of the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in every school across America. But here's the deal. We need your help to make it happen. For every print that you purchase, a second print will be donated to a school, a nonprofit, or veteran of your choice. And it only costs you $99. This is a beautiful, full-size replica of the documents that our nation was founded on, but you won't have to go to the National Archives, Library of Congress, or Independence Hall to see it. Log on to WeThePeoplePrince.com today to help them and our friends at Uline reach our Million Constitution goal. That's WeThePeoplePrince.com. Do it today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about Colin Kaepernick, the fallout. Will more pro football players follow suit? One Philadelphia linebacker may. Also, this story out of Travelers Rest, South Carolina. School officials have decided to ban students from displaying the American flag at a recent football game.
Yeah, high school football, right?
Yeah, high school football. Okay. It banned students from carrying American flags in the game against Borrega High.
Why?
Because a lot of students at Borrega are Hispanic, and the principal contends that the American flag could have been used to taunt those students.
What?
Could have been used to taunt those students who
that is a symbol of pride, and patriotism is not for taunting.
Are Hispanic Americans Americans? Why wouldn't they? Why would they?
Unless they're here illegally, Dan.
Why would they see the American flag as?
And even if they were here illegally, who cares? That's not a
why
symbol of
would anyone
fear.
see the American flag as something to be afraid of or to feel uncomfortable about?
That's
high school
gone too
students
far.
in South Carolina. The principal, Lou Lavely, American flag could have been used to taunt those students. So it's not just Colin Kaepernick, ladies and gentlemen. Megan in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Great show. My comment regarding Colin and all the other numbskulls is that these guys have been coddled since 4th and 5th grade, junior football, all the sponsorship, this, that, and the other thing, and they've never made a decision, and they have no idea what they're speaking about. And my last point is, let's not forget that this is a voting season, and all these things are coming together to discredit our country and the hard work of other people. That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Megan. Appreciate it. Mac on the South Side.
Hey, how's it going? I disagree with Megan. I think that Kaepernick's stance is the correct way to do it. I agree totally with Stephen A. Smith. And to me, a lot of pundits, when they see anyone protesting, if that protest gets very intense, they have a lot of negative things to say. So now you got a young man who's protesting. He's doing a silent protest. He's not inciting anyone to do anything that would harm anyone. So a protest like this, everyone should support it.
Yeah, do you feel the same way about the Tea Party when they have protests?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Do you feel the same way about the Tea Party when they have protest rallies about this policy or that policy?
But you know what, man? I swear to God, I'm not playing a game with you. I really can't hear you.
I asked if you feel the same way about the Tea Party groups when they have a protest about this policy issue or that policy issue.
You raised a good point. The Tea Party protests, unfortunately, the ones that I saw from back in the day when they would say things like, "We want our country back," those protests got so intense. Those protests got loaded with racism and hatred. To me, Kaepernick's protest is the opposite, and that's why I say people should support his protest.
All right. Thanks for the call, Mac.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-422-3838 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-422-3838. That's 800-422-3838. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All the talk of Republicans who won't campaign for Donald Trump. Meet the Democrat congressman from Nebraska who won't campaign with Hillary Clinton at 6:36.
And later, speaking of Hillary, her BFF has separated from the wiener. The details coming up. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're following a developing story in our neighboring state of Indiana this morning where investigators believe they have arrested a man in Greenwood, Indiana, who may have been plotting a domestic terror attack. Christopher Byrne had rifles and homemade suppressors and batches of chemicals in his car when police first arrested him August 15. They say Byrne was already facing a slew of charges and now may face more. A typhoon has slammed into northern Japan, threatening to bring floods to an area still recovering from the 2011 tsunami. Typhoon Lion Rock made landfall last night near the city of Ufunato. Tropical Depression 8 on track to dump heavy rain and pound the outer banks of North Carolina with strong winds and rough surf. Meantime, Tropical Depression 9 is about 250 miles west of Key West, Florida. Russian hackers are being linked to two recent attempts to try and break into state election systems. NBC News says hackers may have targeted state voter registration databases in Illinois and Arizona. However, Arizona's Secretary of State Michelle Reagan says a computer in a rural county did download a virus back in June, which may have made it vulnerable, but they took care of that problem.
Fortunately, we were alerted that this particular computer had downloaded a virus, and because that computer had access to the voter database, we took the entire voter database offline.
Illinois election officials are also confident no voter data was compromised this summer when a hacker was able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. A city employee and school board member in South Suburban Harvey is accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Tyrone Rogers was charged yesterday with aggravated criminal sexual assault. Mayor Emanuel is vowing disciplinary action and changes in training following an encounter between Chicago police and local rapper Che Rhymefest Smith. Cubs over Pittsburgh 8-7 and 13, while the Tigers beat the White Sox 4-3. The news service of Accountemps. When it comes to top accounting and finance pros, Accountemps has your business covered. As the leader in specialized temp staffing, Accountemps delivers highly skilled temporary employees when you need them. Call today or visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a shift in Donald Trump.
His speeches have been only getting better. He has been more on message. He has spoken most effectively on ISIS, on terrorism, on race relations, and on his worldview of why he wants to be president. It's been a good week for Donald Trump. And there are a number of polls that suggest that and reflect that.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
6:36. Let's get an update on the roads. In our AM 560 traffic center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound 21 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 19. The Kennedy 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 32. Eisenhower is now 53 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 57. There was an earlier crash past Des Plaines Avenue. Stevenson is an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 46 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 45 minutes to 355. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 41. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go, 111th to 87th, Archer to 31st. Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways all have delays now. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. With more than 400,000 quality parts and over 90 years of experience, Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. Stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy, warm, and humid today. Heavy showers and storms crossing the area. High 83 and a low of 68 overnight. Currently 74. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, a couple of programming notes. 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have CNN in here. You got all dolled up.
Oh, well, I was going to say the same about you. But
Well,
you know what? You missed a button. You got to button that middle button.
I don't have to do anything
Here
except stay
we
white
go,
and die.
here we go. Except say what?
Except stay white and die. Those are the only two things I have to do.
Why did you say it looked a little? I'm just trying to help you out. Yeah, they're coming in for the Anderson Cooper show. We'll see.
Do you think I could get an autographed picture of Gloria Vanderbilt's kid?
Oh my God. Maybe if you play your cards right.
If I'll take a Don Lemon. I mean, I'd like an Anderson Cooper, but I'll take a Don Lemon.
You'll take a Don Lemon?
Yeah, if I have to go down market.
Don
for
Lemon's
Don Lemon.
mine. I already claimed Don Lemon.
Yeah, but
a
that's
long time ago.
Yeah, but you guys were colleagues. It doesn't count.
And friends. I love Don Lemon.
Maybe you could get like a Jake Tapper.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I saw Jake Tapper at the convention.
Michael Smirkanish. You could get a Michael Smirkanish.
Or maybe
it's
your
a
Wolf
fun name.
Blitzer.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a wolf.
Oh, he's so tiny. He's so little. I wanted to pick him up. Like, come here. Come with us over here.
Yeah.
Come here.
Well, so that's what, and the reason
Yes.
they're coming
Right,
in,
and
by the way.
More importantly, is we're talking about Trump's immigration speech, which he's going to deliver tomorrow in Arizona.
Correct. And some preview of what we can expect from that speech and what people are suggesting should be included in that speech. We'll talk next hour to Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, of course, Fox News strategic analyst, as well as Ruben Navarrete, nationally syndicated columnist. But it seems pretty clear that Trump is going to focus on enforcement, not removal. Enforcement with some determination.
He wants voluntary removal. But
Well, okay. I mean,
Right.
I'm not going to stop people who want to leave. Yeah, that's not removal. But I'm saying enforcement on this side with the idea that for the people that are here illegally, and that's their only crime is coming here illegally, and they want to stay, we're going to deal with them down the road. So it's going to be an enforcement first with, that big, beautiful wall with the Trump sign on
Yeah,
it.
right.
Being built.
That thing's never going to be built.
As
but-
part of that. It's interesting, a good piece of National Review on this topic. Despite Trump's turn on immigration, if you will,
Or flip-flop, as some say.
why a lot of very hardline immigration opponents, even legal immigration opponents, in other words, people that don't want any more legal immigration than we already provide, aren't really leaving the Trump camp. They're not even expressing too much concern. Daniel Stein, who's the president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR, which is a pretty hardline anti-illegal immigration, and they want to reduce legal immigration too. So it's more than just illegal for FAIR. Trump has not substantially deviated from his core position, said Stein. What fundamentally matters is two things. Is this a president who's going to carry out the law the way it's written? And is this a president who's going to work to stop illegal immigration? So it is enforcement first, is their concern. Are we going to have laws that are respected and resources devoted to enforce those laws? And so including removal in priority of violent criminals, but the idea that we're going to reestablish the sovereignty of this country through the sanctity of the borders, and also I would probably say move on cities or even states that just think they can ignore federal immigration law with sanctuary city designations. That seems to me where Trump wants to go with this. Is that fair?
No, that's fair. But he also wants people to voluntarily leave and then come back here legally. Wait in line, wait their turn.
That's right.
Right, but that's just a pipe dream. And this whole flip-flop on immigration is his Hail Mary, his way of trying to court the Latino vote, which is not going to happen. Because what is done is done. What has been said has been said. And Trump forgets that people have memories and that they don't forget things so easily. And I don't think that, that's what I think he's trying to placate to the Latinos with this whole flip-flop on immigration.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the audience. I think you're going to get what you get with Latino voters in the short term. You're going to get what you get with black voters in the short term. It's just difficult to have seismic shifts in a population that is so one-sidedly supporting one party. But they're just kind of D and R. Everything else is not open for conversation. So they're not looking at individual candidates, generally speaking. 3/4 of Latino voters, roughly, and 90% of black voters, generally. They're just not. I wish that weren't the case, but the numbers are the numbers. And the idea that that's going to, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, not just because of what's been said and done already, but just because they're locked in. And it's going to take a while and probably a different messaging approach than Trump has offered, but also a different messaging approach than establishment Republicans have offered to materially change that distribution of vote. So again, Mitt Romney, could there be a more opposite personality type to Donald Trump than Mitt Romney?
No.
And what percentage of the Latino vote did Mitt Romney get?
Was it 19%?
27%.
27%.
Which is about where Trump is tracking right now.
Okay, and what about W?
W,
Bush,
but he, the Texas base, yeah. But he bounced up to 44% in 2004, and this was seen as, it's in play, but then it's receded back since then with McCain, who was a Gang of Eighter, right? Pathway to citizenship guy. Did that get him any electoral support? Then kind of base Republican electoral support at this time, this time in our country's history. It really didn't.
Donald Trump is polling 27% with Latinos?
Yeah, he's right there, right? Okay. Mid-20s. Reince Priebus, the RNC chairman, said you are not going to have a pathway to citizenship with Donald Trump. This is what he said over the weekend on Meet the Press. It's going to be tough, but also fair and humane. You're not going to have a pathway to citizenship. And this is essentially what Trump is saying with this idea of low priority, but we're going to focus on the enforcement side, and I think this is what he's going to say tomorrow. We're going to focus on the enforcement side, and we're going to deal with people who are not threats to public safety later. Because we got an enforcement problem in terms of people coming in, both border as well as overstaying visas. We have a problem with allowing violent predators to remain in this country that should have been deported.
Yes.
So we got kind of to rank order some of to rank order the priorities, to rank order the job.
I want his number one priority to be deporting criminals. I mean, Donald Trump, he brought this family on stage in Iowa over the weekend. The Roots family, I don't know if you're familiar with their story, but their daughter was killed by an illegal who was a convicted felon released from prison and then got drunk and got behind the wheel of a car and killed their daughter. And so they're supporting Donald Trump like, yes, the number one priority should be deporting criminals.
It's the Kate Steinle story.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the story that we've heard over and over again. I mean, this is real people, and they're kind of given the back of the hand by the federal government with the kind of whole we're working on it. And we talked about this with Rachel Campos Duffy from the Libre Initiative yesterday.
I think she's still talking.
Well, yeah. It's something where everybody voices support because nobody wants to say, no, it's okay if violent non-citizens stay here. Nobody takes that position, and yet they're here.
I know, but even Joe Arpaio, our sheriff from Maricopa County, he separates the illegals from the legals in his prison. And then when they're released, he still doesn't know where they go.
Well,
that's so bothersome.
Well, this
to
is
me.
the point between kind of federal, state, local coordination. Right. But Saldana, the ICE director, who's appeared before Congress a number of times, we played her testimony.
Oh, good.
I mean, she's
a Rhodes Scholar.
Well, she's at least honest about it. Yeah. I mean, and the exchanges that she's had with Ted Cruz and others about the tens of thousands of violent, repeat offenders who are nonetheless in this country. If you have a functioning, efficient justice system, law enforcement, and national security coordinating at every level, then it seems to me they've been arrested and in many cases convicted. There's no bail, number one.
Right.
And when you're convicted, you're gone, and that's the end of the story. And I don't care if your home country doesn't want you back. They're getting you back.
Right. Some people even argued that they should be deported immediately, and we shouldn't even waste our tax dollars to keep and feed them while they're in prison.
Well, these are all points of discussion, but the inability of the federal government to accomplish that task when there is unanimity says two things. One, they're either incompetent or they're not serious or it's a little bit of both. And it poisons the well for everything else. If they can't even accomplish what we all agree needs to be done, if they can't marshal the resources to do that, then why should I even contemplate anything else? Why should I believe another word you have to say about any other reform measure, any other structural rethinking of immigration policy, or frankly, most other policy? You can't accomplish something where there's unanimity. And we have the resources to do it if we were serious about doing it and had competent people in charge. So we don't have serious, competent people in charge. That's the only logical conclusion. Mo on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, how you doing? I mean, I hear you guys even in yapping about, if Trump puts someone on stage and this person killed, this person is a criminal. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than just being a criminal. I mean, there's boundaries for a reason. And the reason, I don't even understand how we're actually discussing this. It's like society has forgotten that there's borders for a reason. Boundaries for a reason. You want to come somewhere, you can't just waltz in there and do whatever the heck you want. You should actually have something in paper or something in writing. I mean, what happened that we all of a sudden think we actually have to have a discussion about doing something that's right?
Well, what happened is we have we're not doing something that's right. And we have opponents to doing something that's right. And we have people who are not serious about what they say in advance of doing something right. So we have to have a discussion about it. If there wasn't a problem, we wouldn't be having a discussion. So it's easy to say, well, this is obviously the right answer. Well, then the challenge of politics for people who are just content with their own righteousness is implementation. Yeah, it's easy to do the 2 + 2 = 4. It's easy to run the logic. The implementation seems to be where we fall down, and that requires constant political lift. And this is where the left is much stronger than the right, much more relentless. We're content to say, well, I've got it all right here. This is what is eminently reasonable. This makes perfect sense. Now I expect this just to wave a magic wand and it to happen. That's kind of like what Obama did, but unfortunately, the leftists on the ground are much more mission-focused, as it were, in terms of implementation. We need to have the same mission focus. This is why we're talking about it. Mark and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. I don't think that you have to build a wall. Here's how I would do it. The enablers, the de Blasios, the Emanuels, the mayors of the big cities, the governors of the states, the mayors of the little towns. There's far less of those. You bring cases against those guys who are telling you and showing you that they're enabling these guys. You start arresting those guys for a couple of weeks, round those hundreds of those guys up and throw them in the lockup, and you're going to put the fear of God in the rest of everybody else. They'll go, hey, we better not do that, or we're going to be just like those guys. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Thanks for the call, Mark. I mean, I support the idea of arresting politicians just as a matter of course, but repealing Sanctuary City, and if they openly violate the law, it's kind of interesting.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Some rain, thunderstorms passing through the area right now. Otherwise, today it will be hot and humid, cloudy skies. We can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm late in the afternoon as well. A high of 83 degrees. Then tonight, another chance of a shower or thunderstorm. And tomorrow, get a load of this. It's going to be a lot less humid, a lot cooler, a high in the mid-70s. Let's get the travel times. He's a very busy man this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Got a big mess on LaGrange Road in the Willow Springs area. There's a crash northbound at Archer, and then the ramp from LaGrange Road to the inbound Stevenson is blocked with a car fire. The Stevenson itself is brutal, too. An hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Mix in a crash at Harlem on the right side. Outbound, it's 45 minutes. Eden's 31 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound, 25. The Kennedy, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's 45 minutes to Montrose, an hour and 12 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 57. The Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State northbound, bottled up from Cicero up to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway jammed, 31 to Roselle, and Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway, 31 to Yola, and 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton most of the way to St. Charles, and Army Trail to 290. Jim Talamonte of the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Foot Locker hopes to boost sales with new stores starting today, and Facebook's founder meets with the Pope. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
Wall Street today is awaiting release of the so-called Red Book this morning, which has details on consumer spending. Investors often react to the report and its indicators. The Foot Locker retailer is reorganizing. The chain's flagship store is set to reopen this morning, hoping to eventually boost its nationwide sales from $7.3 billion to $20 billion in the next 4 years. Pope Francis has met with Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg at the Vatican. A Vatican spokesman says the Facebook CEO and the Pope discussed ways to use communications technologies to alleviate poverty. And Greece's economy expanded by just 0.2% in the second quarter. Its economy has shrunk by 25% since its debt crisis broke out in 2009. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free. Guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, SAUL.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Rusty Paul is the most important mayor in the United States. That's right, Mayor Rusty Paul of suburban Sandy Springs, Georgia. Incorporated a little more than a decade ago, featuring a population just north of 100,000 residents, Sandy Springs, Georgia may hold the key to avoiding the nation's looming public sector pension disaster. Many politicians talk of running government like a business. In Sandy Springs, businesses literally run the government. Sporting only 7 full-time municipal employees other than police and fire, Mayor Paul competitively bids out the remaining complement of local government services to private sector operators. The result? Sandy Springs has flat taxes, no long-term debt, no pension obligations, and high customer satisfaction ratings from its residents who are surveyed regularly. Considering unfunded state and local pension obligations top $1 trillion nationally, with a hole deepening even as taxpayers are shoveling more money into it, combined with intransigent public sector unions and cowardly politicians who exhibit no desire to dig out, Sandy Springs' model of municipal government may replace the peach as Georgia's signature export.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors, so now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio. I believe not only in protecting your retirement and making the growth going forward, but also having a tax-efficient retirement as well, because you want your retirement portfolios to generate an income stream that will last for your life, for your spouse's life, and if you have kids, that will pass on to the next generation as well. Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-550-8804.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Colonel Ralph Peters at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy, Indiana state voter registration reportedly hacked. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. People are going to the polls in Florida. It's also primary day in Arizona, one of 2 states targeted by hackers, prompting the FBI to alert all the states. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Dave, the FBI Cyber Division sent a flash alert to state election officials asking them to tighten computer security after election systems were compromised in Arizona and Illinois. Yahoo News reports the breach has prompted Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson to hold a recent conference call with state election officials to offer his department's help. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid is so worried Russia might try to throw the election. He sent a letter to the FBI asking them to investigate. Dave.
Rachel, they aren't tropical storms yet, but 2 depressions could soon be. One's headed for the North Carolina coast and could dump heavy rain, even cause flooding today. Another's aiming at Florida's Gulf Coast, and then there's Hawaii. Hurricane Madeline will pass by to the south.
Tuesday into Wednesday and into Thursday, portions of the Big Island could expect heavy rains and possibilities of damaging wind.
Eric Lau at the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Hurricane Lester could hit Hawaii at the end of the week. As Apple readies its newest iPhone, it's hit with an iTax.
Apple has been ordered to pay a tax bill of up to $14.5 billion because of its tax deal with Ireland. The European Union antitrust regulator says Apple's arrangement to move profits through Ireland amounted to illegal state aid.
That's Fox's Ginny Casola. Both Ireland and Apple say they'll appeal. There's a $76,000 reward in Camden, New Jersey, as police try to find whoever killed an 8-year-old girl hit in the head by a stray bullet last week as she crossed the street in Camden. It's 2 men were shooting at someone else. While in Philadelphia, a 13-year-old boy accidentally shot a 12-year-old girl and himself while playing with a gun inside a home. Both survived. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We've had some rain and heavy thunderstorms across the area this morning, plus some heavy, dense fog. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A group of Chicago Skyway maintenance workers could be headed for a strike this morning. The union representing the employees says the plan to walk off the job following 9 months without a contract is moving forward. Those workers are responsible for clearing debris from the road and responding to accidents. Illinois election officials are confident no voter data was compromised this summer when a hacker may have been able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. Each affected voter will be notified after a complete accounting. A city employee and school board member in Harvey is accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Tyrone Rogers was charged yesterday with aggravated criminal sexual assault. Rogers was arrested Saturday night and has already been placed on unpaid administrative leave. Prosecutors say one of the 2 paroled gun offenders charged with fatally shooting 32-year-old Nikea Aldridge has admitted to the shooting that targeted the 25-year-old gang rival. 26-year-old Darwin Sorrells and his 22-year-old brother were back in court after being arrested over the weekend for the Friday shooting of the mother of 4. Former Chicago transportation official sentenced to 10 years in prison after being convicted of taking bribes to steer a $10 million red light camera contract to a company in Phoenix.
Today's a very extremely tough day, and I'm going to move ahead from this. I'm a better man and a stronger man for going through this. There's work for me to do, and I will do that.
John Bill spoke to reporters yesterday after getting that sentence of 10 years behind bars. An Illinois man accused of making a death threat against Governor Rauner will not be spending any time in jail. Jesse Kuzma of Elgin was sentenced in Kane County Court to 2 years of probation after pleading guilty to attempting to threaten a public official. Cubs over the Pirates in 13 innings, 8-7. Tigers with a comeback win over the White Sox, 4-3. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Leaving town for Labor Day before you hit the road? Stop by your nearest Firestone Complete Auto Care for 10% off select Bridgestone tires between September 1st and 5th. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It started at Bunko Night. A little tickle in my throat, says Sandra. Then comes Colin barking like a seal. That cough, that's the flu. And then it spreads to Edna, to Wiley, to Marjorie. But when it comes to your door, you won't be answering because you got your flu shot at Rite Aid, where they care about you and your health. So while they're seeing doctors and sweating through fevers, you'll be teaching your granddaughter the 2-deck shuffle. Shield yourself at Rite Aid before it's too late. If you're over 65, the CDC recommends flu and pneumonia shots. No appointments necessary, and they're free with Medicare Part B. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacy for details.
Control, this is QL1. Everything looks good on my end. Prepping for liftoff. Over. One more thing, QL1. What's that, Control? You've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it? Well, it's completely online. It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button so you get real numbers, not estimates. And hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason. Yeah, go ahead and pick one. Anyone. That's tough. They all sound great. I think you're finally getting it, Control. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:06. Let's check our roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's eastbound spur delay start at Waukegan Road. Then it's slow Lake Avenue to the junction. 31 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy is 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 24 minutes from Montrose, 18 on the express, outbound. 53 minutes to Montrose, an hour and a half to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower is an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour 10 to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson, the on-ramp at LaGrange Road is closed due to a car fire. It's an hour and 5 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, ID to the merge. Bishop Ford, 40. Northbound Tri-State jammed. Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go, 31 to Roselle and Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway, 31 to Farnsworth, 59 to 53, and Midwest to the Tri-State. Banners Memorial slow from I-55. Much of the way up to
this guy is such a
traffic
total
when you need them
It's
most.
stunning.
Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly cloudy, warm, and humid with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 83. Tonight partly cloudy and humid with a shower or thunderstorm around with a low of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Some clouds, heavy rain showers, and dense fog across the area. 75 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fly By Night with Ken Severa. Heard Saturday evenings at midnight here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Colin Kaepernick brought attention to something that, by and large, folks had better recognize the black community is feeling very, very adamant about.
Maybe you should find a country that works better for him. Let him try. It won't happen.
What I want to say is I love him. I have forgiven him.
You are no longer engaging in that kind of behavior.
Yes, I did tell you that.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You know, Amy, we've talked so much about Republicans, including, the Romney family and the Bush family that are not supporting Trump or not campaigning for him.
Didn't go to the convention.
There are Democrats that none too thrilled about one Hillary Clinton as well, unless reported upon, because that's the disposition of the D.C. press corps. But when Congressman Brad Ashford sees Hillary Clinton coming, he's going the other way. He's the one Democrat member of the Nebraska Congressional Caucus, and Brad Ashford will not be campaigning with one Hillary Clinton.
I'm not going to campaign with her. I'm going to I that's not my role at all. I don't believe my responsibility is to work directly with my constituents.
So, there's a lot of angst on the other side with Hillary, too, particularly as we find more and more information out about the folding in of the State Department to the Clinton Foundation, or if you prefer, the Clinton Foundation to the State Department being interchangeable parts. And today we also mourn the likely end of the marriage of Huma Abedin.
Yeah, but you know what I learned from
Carlos Danger.
Andrea Mitchell yesterday? This may come as a surprise to you, but Huma and Anthony Weiner have been separated for a while. Now she just made it public. They've been living separate lives for a while, particularly because she's on the campaign trail and away from Anthony Weiner and their 5-year-old son for long stretches of time.
Well, hopefully they can continue to communicate through Twitter. For more serious matters, we're now happy to be joined by our friend. He is Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. Colonel Peters, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always great speaking with both of you.
And so I want to start with the occasion of the 10,000th Syrian refugee coming to America this week. And I wonder what kind of insight you have in terms of the threat assessment of 10,000 people that Jim Comey, the FBI director, says we cannot vet now in this country.
Well, of course it's a problem when you've got people coming in that you can't vet. But at the same time, it's too easy to lose perspective. The Syrian refugees that we're letting in, they go through some vetting. There may be terrorists among them, but we should be concentrating much more fiercely and uncompromisingly on the problems that are already here, which are the hate mosques, the mullahs who are funded in madrasas, the religious schools funded by Saudi Arabia and the Gulf Arabs. We should be concentrating on the the uncontrolled use of the internet by terrorists and their sympathizers. And we should be concentrating even harder than we are on homegrown threats. Because if you look at the terrorists who have struck America since 9/11, disproportionately, they're either Muslims that were born here, or young, discontented males who converted. So while we must be concerned about immigration, we must know who is here and what they are doing here. If you really run the numbers, the Americans killing Americans, or the American residents killing Americans, aren't recent refugees.
Well, how can we monitor mosques without stomping on their right for religious freedom?
Well, it's actually very simple. Hate speech is hate speech. We would not allow the Ku Klux Klan to go to downtown Chicago and hold a rally that called for the murder of Jews and blacks and Hispanics. And that would be incitement to violence. And when mosques do the same thing, it is not religious freedom. It is insulting. It is incitement to violence, and it's subversion. But there's a more fundamental approach that we need to take, and that is Congress needs to act to bring forth legislation that demands reciprocity in the funding of religious institutions by foreign actors, whether they be governments, organizations, or individuals. In other words, no religious institution on U.S. soil can accept funds directly or indirectly from any foreign entity unless that foreign entity is or is resident in a country that practices full religious freedom. In other words, the Saudis don't get to fund hate mosques here until we get to fund chapels and synagogues in Saudi Arabia. Now, that's not going to happen. But why on earth, in the name of a perverted idea of religious freedom, should we allow Islamist fanatics and states such as those in the Persian Gulf and Saudi Arabia whose goals are inimical to our interests, who, in the case of Saudi Arabia, lies at the root of all Sunni terrorism we've seen through their Wahhabi proselytizing, why should they have a free hand to fund hate speech in the United States of America? It makes no sense, and the Saudis have gotten away with it only because they spread so much money around Washington. They ingratiated themselves for decades with American corporations and with American political leaders of both parties. And we are crazy. Well, I am for religious freedom, absolutely. But it stops when religious freedom turns into an incitement to slaughter Christians, Jews, Hindus, and others. So we need to apply common sense as a nation, and Congress needs to do its duty and get serious about this. And there would be no problem that I see, no moral, ethical, or ultimately legal problem with legislation that simply says, you don't let us fund religious institutions in your country, you can't fund them here. Makes sense to me.
Well, that's interesting. But I mean, essentially the distinction you're drawing is the difference between a house of worship and a criminal conspiracy. And that's a distinction that is provided for in U.S. law right now. We just have to interdict the criminal conspiracies.
Yeah, but political correctness, that greatest of all poisons in the American political system, has prevented us from doing so many things. I mean, political correctness, I mean, you look at the Copernic case and all that nonsense, and political correctness will not allow us to discuss pathologies in minority communities that Daniel Patrick Moynihan raised 50 years ago. A hero of mine, by the way, a brilliant man, much missed still. And we cannot discuss religion honestly. I mean, when you have a president that won't call Islamist terror because he doesn't want to offend terrorists, I mean, something is fundamentally wrong. And so democracy relies on a few fundamental principles that we are losing. One is that democracy is about compromise, this idea that you don't compromise. That's anti-democratic, that's fascist or communist. Democracy is about horse trading. But the other thing that bothers me is democracy is about free speech, not hate speech, not incitement to violence or subversion, but an open and honest public debate, reliant on facts and statistics and informed views about our problems. And we cannot have that because there are protected groups in our society. As soon as you try to have a frank discussion of issue X, you're a racist. If you try to discuss Islam honestly, you're a bigot. And so what happens is the shrillest voices, the most dangerous voices on both political extremes, drown everybody out who's trying to have a conversation. So, again, there's a reason why the First Amendment is the First Amendment. And we've got to get beyond political correctness because it's not the police that are killing young black males. It's political correctness that's killing young black males. It's not. God knows it's not religious tolerance in its purest, noblest form that's enabling terrorists. It's political correctness. So again, I see this as the fundamental disease, political disease of our time, and we, without wantonly and gratuitously insulting or attacking others, we need to have an honest discussion in this country.
Well,
black theories, wild conspiracy theories on all sides.
And it's worth noting that what separates us from Islamic theocracies and other authoritarian and totalitarian regimes is religious pluralism, religious freedom, and free and fair elections. And if those two cornerstones of our free society are compromised, then the whole thing comes tumbling down.
That's absolutely right. And although those of us who are religious believers certainly believe in our particular brand of faith above others, nonetheless, as a student of history, what strikes me is a competition. Just as it's good in the marketplace, it's good for religions. And societies and civilizations get into trouble when one religion has a total monopoly or a near monopoly and can dictate terms to every individual, to all other groups. And so one of the many reasons for the wonderful success, the currently underappreciated success of the United States of America is even in religion we have competition. Competition in the marketplace brings us better products at cheaper prices. Competition in religious affairs between denominations of faith, where in this country we can leave one denomination, go to another without getting our head chopped off. That's a very, very healthy thing. And so I just feel like, my gosh, especially in this with the heightened rhetoric of this political season, one thing I see my fellow Americans doing is failing to appreciate the magnificence and the wonder of this country. For all its undeniable problems, there's no place better. And if a quarterback from the 49ers thinks there is, he should seek it out.
All right, he is Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. Colonel Peters, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Some morning rain, cloudy skies right now. It's going to be warm and humid today, so enjoy it because things are going to be changing around here. A high today of 83 degrees. And then tonight, a shower or thunderstorm likely. And tomorrow, again, not as humid. A lot cooler, a high of 76 degrees. Any high travel times? Here's Jim Delamonte.
You're all high, Amy. It's 35 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose on the 8-inch, but delays on the eastbound spur start at Waukegan Road. Outbound 26 minutes. Kennedy 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's an hour and a half downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound an hour 10. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The on-ramp from LaGrange Road just reopened. Outbound 50 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. Outbound 21. Tri-State, delays are northbound and they're heavy. Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway jammed, 31 to Roselle and Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway from Orchard to 355 and Midwest to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial delays are from I-55 most of the way to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Join me, Dan Proft, for the 36th Annual Northwest Suburban Republican Family Picnic. It's Sunday, September 11th at the Bussey Woods Forest Preserve in Elk Grove Village. Tickets are just $25 per family if you order ahead of time at goppicnic.com. Ticket price includes food and drink for the whole family, entrance into the petting zoo, pony rides, bounce house, face painting, and so much more. Visit goppicnic.com for the details.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-550-8804. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. Think you might be bloated? See how much flatter New Biotics makes your belly. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-550-8804. That's 1-800-550-8804. 1-800-550-8804.
When you hear the word chiller, the first thing that pops into your mind may be a frozen drink from your favorite convenience store. If you run a business or you're a maintenance engineer, you know of a different kind of chiller, the mechanical one that keeps you, your employees, and customers cool in the summer. And with this summer predicted to be hotter than normal, you don't want to get stuck on one of those 90-plus degree days with no AC. Better call Air Comfort and get your chiller tuned up and running at peak performance. A professional inspection can find small problems before they become big problems, and proper maintenance can keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your AC is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the certified pre-owned sales event now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for details about costs and terms.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Neil Diamond, Coming to America. I love this song. I have to tell you, I thought the presidential race took an ugly turn when Donald Trump inserted himself in the Uma Abedin-Anthony Weiner separation. I mean, he tweeted or texted out that she made a wise decision by separating from him, and that there's a possibility that our country and its security has been greatly compromised by Hillary Clinton's bad choice of having Uma Abedin on her team. And since she's married to Anthony Weiner, there might have been some national security issues.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's off base by getting involved in a personal matter? I mean, is this really a matter of national security?
Mrs. Carlos Danger is Clinton's right hand.
Yeah.
And that gets a lot of work. So I don't know. I mean, we know how careful this entire staff is with national security information, classified information, state secrets. I have no idea. We do know from an email that was unearthed from the Daily Caller Foundation email chain reporting today that the email indicates that very early in Hillary's term as Secretary of State, her two closest aides were scandalized by their boss's indifference to email security. This is so unbelievable. She should not be giving her email to everyone, said a frustrated Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills, April 3rd, 2009. Deputy Chief of Staff Mrs. Carlos Danger responded, "Don't get me started. Personally, I think it's outrageous. Not so outrageous that anything was done about it, but outrageous nonetheless back in 2009. So I don't know. I mean, I find the Uma Weiner couple as disgusting as I do the Clintons, just about.
Why? Because they both have cheating husbands that are perverted and sleazeballs, and they stuck with him. I mean, she stuck with him until I think that she had to leave him once that picture
she's such a heroic figure.
No, once the third time you're out, and once that picture of him next to his son, you don't put your son, you don't sext pictures with your son involved. And I think that their version of DCFS should get involved and investigate, because she's separating him, but she's not taking the baby with her at work.
That picture.
She's leaving the baby. Well, he's 5 years old.
That picture of their kid next to his dad's junk. I haven't seen a kid next to his dad's junk like that since Lamont Sanford. I love that line.
Well, wait. Now you're getting in my head. I can't concentrate. When
This is a serious matter.
No.
Give me a break. These two deserve each other, and I guess they deserve to be distanced from each other so that Uma can spend all her time with the other person she deserves to be with, Hillary Clinton, as one of her, capos in the Clinton Inc. crime family. I mean, there's nobody wearing a white hat in any of this story.
But Anthony
so
Weiner
just
is
spare me the as the world turns melodrama.
But he is so stupid to think that this 40-year-old woman wasn't, screen saving all of this, and she sold all that to the New York Post.
Well, whatever.
Page 6. She made money off of
Anthony Weiner's pond scum.
But he can't control himself. What is that, a disease?
But when he was, a babbling left-wing politician in New York, he's a beloved, celebrated figure, and the power couple, just like the Hillbillies, Hillbilly House of Cards routine over
Bill
there.
Clinton
power
did marry
couple,
them. Yeah.
Power couple, and Bill Clinton poisoned the well. But I mean, apparently this is the JV team for Clinton Inc. Uma and Anthony. Anthony's just even creepier than Bill is, I guess.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you ever seen what really goes on in your caterer's or favorite restaurant's kitchen? What does the kitchen look like? How big is the operation? And maybe most importantly, who's cooking my meal? When you cater with Tasty Catering, you get more than quality food and event planning. You get an invitation to see what goes on throughout our entire building, including our kitchen. We call it our open kitchen door policy. Come see for yourself why we are so proud of what we do, and gain the peace of mind that comes with knowing the who's, the what's, the where's, and the how's of the way we prepare your food. Visit tastycatering.com for more information, or contact a Tasty Catering sales representative and set up a time to come meet with us at our home. You can't put a price on peace of mind, but if you had to, all it takes is one visit. Call 847-593-2000, 847-593-2000, or start your visit through our open doors at tastycatering.com.
You always listen to AM 560, The Answer. You've heard all about Turnkey IT, Chicagoland's leading IT service provider for small business. Turnkey provides world-class support and customizable plans for businesses with 5 to 100 users. And with some of Turnkey IT's programs, you get all new equipment, free security, and antivirus protection. Sound great? Then why haven't you called Turnkey IT? There's really no excuse. Turnkey IT is setting you up with their best offer yet. Through the summer, all AM 560 listeners receive their first month of service for just $1. Your business will receive comprehensive coverage, including unlimited help desk and online support, network hosting, and antivirus protection its first contracted month for just $1. Ready to make the switch? It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro now. That's turnkey.pro. And tell them AM 560 The Answer sent you. Get ready to focus on the important things of your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today.
AM 560 The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Previewing Trump's immigration speech tomorrow with Ruben Navarrete, nationally syndicated columnist, and also the dueling ads that Hillary and Trump have on matters economic. That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 73, and a pair of tropical depressions likely to dump heavy rain across the East Coast. Tropical Depression 8 and 9. 8 has the Outer Banks of North Carolina in its sights. Number 9 near Key West, Florida. The Central Pacific Hurricane Center on Monday issued a hurricane watch for the Big Island of Hawaii. As Hurricane Madeline closed in on the island. Florida holding a primary today with implications for both the House and Senate. Marco Rubio holds a wide lead over the Republican challenger for his Senate seat. Donald Trump's campaign repudiating a robocall from a former KKK Grand Wizard.
It's time to stand up and vote for Donald Trump for president and vote for me, David Duke, for the U.S. Senate.
That's David Duke, a former Klan leader, mentioning nothing of his affiliation to the KKK. Reactions pouring in from around the sports world over Colin Kaepernick's decision to sit during the national anthem following his opening round win at the U.S. Open tennis tournament. American tennis player John Isner.
Yeah, I thought that was pathetic from him. I don't the cause he was going for, fine by me, but don't do it in that fashion.
Police at Virginia Tech taking a threatening email seriously this morning, where campus police are reportedly investigating an email sent to dozens of addresses through Facebook. A group of Chicago Skyway maintenance workers could be headed for a strike this morning. Union representing the employees says they plan to walk off the job following 9 months without a contract. Illinois election officials are confident no voter data were compromised this summer when a hacker may have been able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. Cubs over the Pirates in 13, 8-7, while the Tigers beat the White Sox 4-3. The news service of Napa Auto Parts, with more than 400,000 quality parts and over 90 years of experience. Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. So stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
So what happens if Hillary Clinton wins? Dennis Prager explains.
There are people who are never Trump who don't engage the price paid if the Democrats win. Please understand, it is a permanently left-wing court if Hillary Clinton wins. Permanent. Many of you will be dead before the possibility of undoing it happens. Dead. Okay? Is that clear?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customers' success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:36. Let's check our roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 is stop and go Dundee to Kirchhoff. Eden's inbound 41 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 36 to Kennedy. An hour and 12 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound an hour 20. The Eisenhower, an hour and 12 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound an hour 10. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound an hour and 10 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 21. Tri-State southbound, slow 120 to 137. Northbound jammed, Cicero to 31st. The Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Veterans Memorial stop and go, I-55 most of the way to 290. Traffic service of Burger King's breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light, flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage or delicious thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 croissant for $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Warm and humid, showers and thunderstorms will hang around today, high 83. Currently 73. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
See Alan West and Michelle Malkin at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And before we get to a little preview of what is and or should be in Donald Trump's speech on immigration tomorrow, just quickly, a couple new ads that are up, one from Trump, one from Hillary, both talking about the economy. Trump's kind of borrowing from John Edwards. And that's a dangerous thing to do with a Two Americas construct. And then Hillary just hammering Trump from having businesses overseas while he's talking about making America great again. So here's Trump and his Two Americas.
In Hillary Clinton's America, the middle class gets crushed. Spending goes up. Taxes go up. Hundreds of thousands of jobs disappear. It's more of the same, but worse. In Donald Trump's America, working families get tax relief. Millions of new jobs created. Wages go up. Small businesses thrive. The American dream achievable. Change that makes America great again. Donald Trump for president.
You know, and I'm hoping soon he will just pull Barack Obama's ad from 2008 where...
Oh, the one you played yesterday?
Yeah, where he says Hillary will say anything and change nothing, because that's the Hillary today, and it's the better argument to make in 2016 than it was by President Obama, well, then candidate Obama, in 2008. That's really all he needs, because that's what everybody agrees, and they need to be reminded. Now, Hillary, on the other hand, takes on Trump for where he gets his ties made.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
He wears it like a crown. Make America great again. But Trump made his shirts in Bangladesh, his ties in China, and his suits in Mexico. In fact, the real Donald Trump outsourced his products and jobs to 12 different countries. So don't believe the hat. You can't make America great again if you don't make things in America.
Oh, that's pretty effective. But that's, the old, David Letterman, same spot where David Letterman holds up his hat. Where was this made? Holds up a tie. Where was this made? the same thing.
Yeah, actually, it's economic illiteracy, that ad is.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Donald Trump essentially has advocated for the same economic illiteracy on trade. It turns out, this is kind of important just as a discussion on trade. This is kind of relates to the overall conversation of this campaign and where the both candidates are wrong. It turns out 53% of total imports last year in this country for capital goods or industrial equipment, goods that were used by the end user, meaning an American company, to produce their product. If you actually look across the board, you find that nearly all imports that are not raw materials are intermediate components that are used by American companies to produce goods that are sold to Americans, and then in many cases, companies that have that sell internationally to sell to the rest of the world. And so the lower the price of the inputs for U.S. businesses, because that's what these are, inputs, when you're importing capital goods, industrial supplies, consumer goods, car parts and engines, food, inputs into an American company's product, the lower the price of those inputs, the more competitive those companies are, the more products they can sell both internationally and domestically, the greater market share they can achieve, the more U.S. workers they can hire. That's how the economy actually works. That's how a market-based approach to a free society and a free people actually works. Hillary Clinton is wrong, but unfortunately Trump is a bit defenseless on this issue because of the posture he's taken. But for more on this topic, as well as the immigration speech that's highly touted, it's forthcoming tomorrow from Donald Trump, we're happy to be joined again by Ruben Navarrete. He is a syndicated columnist at the Washington Post Writers Group. Ruben, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Thanks.
So why don't we start with Donald Trump's speech tomorrow? It's kind of being previewed as focused on enforcing the laws, not removing people that are here, at least nonviolent people that are here. Is that the right balance for him to strike, or what are you hoping that will be included in tomorrow's offering?
So I don't think there is any perfect balance for Donald Trump to strike. The more specific he gets, and his running mate, Governor Mike Pence, has said that tomorrow we're going to get lots of specificity. The more specific Donald Trump gets, the more trouble he gets into with either the right or the left. And there is no perfect balance there. People are going to come away from tomorrow's speech unhappy. What he's most concerned about, I think what he should be concerned about, is that his base come away unhappy because they sense a softening in his approach, to use his word, softening of his approach with people who are here illegally. Everybody agrees, or they should agree, that you should secure the border, and you even will find many folks ambivalent about the idea of building a wall, people doubtful about whether a wall will stop the flow, but nobody feels as passionately against the wall as they do some of his other immigration plans. So if it seems like he's softening at all, he's going to get an earful from his supporters.
Well, I watched, CNN's Dana Bash, and she was talking with Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, and she asked him about this deportation force that would remove illegal immigrants. And Conway replied, to be determined. So do you think that there's still going to be a deportation team?
No, I don't think there will be. In fact, some others have said that it's been some time many months since Donald Trump mentioned a deportation force. If you watch his campaign carefully day to day, you see that the stuff he really values, like building a wall, he will talk about it constantly. Many other things he doesn't go back to. One example, changing the 14th Amendment or an interpretation of the 14th Amendment so that people who are born here, children of illegal immigrants, are no longer citizens. He dropped that like a hot rock 8 months ago. Mm-hmm. He hasn't come back to it. So it's a signal and a tell that he really does, as a businessman, like him or not, he understands the dependence of the U.S. economy on illegal immigrant labor at this point, including his own beloved field of construction. So I think he's clear about that. He wants to build the wall, and he wants to secure the border and stop the flow as best he can. But don't be surprised if he lays out a plan so that people who are here illegally can become legal.
Peter Beinart in The Atlantic, Peter Beinart's a Democrat, but he had an interesting take on this. He basically said Trump is in a bit of a trap because why he's been successful on the issue, particularly in the primaries, because he didn't get into the debate that has beset the Republican Party on actual immigration policy. He never offered any immigration policy. He just offered a quick fix like building a wall and just hawked it endlessly. And now that he's getting into specifics, kind of what you're suggesting, Now this is a more of a trick bag than talking about bombing the hell out of ISIS members and their family, or just building a wall and operating like a businessman would to get done what people said should get done but haven't gotten done, and not having to get into the policy details. That's a danger spot.
So I read that piece last night by Peter Bernard. I think that it's an important point. The point I mentioned before, the more specific Trump gets, the more trouble he gets into. In the primary, he was vague, and he was able to escape this. But my problem with Bernard and others who make this point is every single thing you can say about Donald Trump, you could just as easily say about Hillary Clinton.
Yep, that's right.
So Hillary Clinton has been a flip-flopper on immigration. She said the Central American refugees should go home. No, they should be able to stay. I'm against illegal immigrants, she said on a radio show in New York many years ago. Now she wants them to stay. She's been a flip-flopper. The media doesn't cover those flip-flops as aggressively as they do Donald Trump's alleged flip-flop. But beyond that, in terms of vagueness and specificity, likewise, Hillary Clinton would get into enormous trouble with union members, organized labor, people in Rust Belt states like Illinois and other states, like Ohio, famously a battleground state, if she came out with a plan to allow people to stay here legally.
Well, and
so
another, and sorry to interrupt, but another important point, too, is unlike Donald Trump, she has had an opportunity as a U.S. Senator, as the Secretary of State in the first 2 years of the Obama administration, where they had the Congress to be an advocate for the path to citizenship or whatever reform proposal she thought should be advanced. And nothing happened during her tenure as a U.S. Senator. Nothing happened during her time as Secretary of State. So it's an indictment of somebody who had an opportunity and did nothing.
Before Rahm Emanuel was a disaster as mayor of Chicago, he was a disaster as a member of Congress and one of Nancy Pelosi's top lieutenants. And in that role, he kept immigration off the agenda. When the Democrats controlled the House of Representatives, he called it the third rail of American politics. You touch it, you die. So a fair accounting of this, which you never get from the media, would say that Democrats are just as culpable. It's not that they were busy and had something else to do or went out for a cup of coffee. They have deliberately avoided the subject because it splits their coalition, Latinos who want legal status against union members that don't.
All right, so how could some of the undocumented, but not all, the people that are here, earn a legal status or citizenship?
That seems to be the general direction, legal status but not citizenship. It's what I favor. I don't favor a bar against citizenship, an outright bar. I've heard that. I might be persuaded to that if it got the deal done. But the main idea is that once you become a legal resident and you have a green card, you should be able to walk the rest of the road your way on your own and to become a citizen. It's a special thing to be a U.S. citizen. You ought to be able to earn it. You ought to have some stake in the game. But I think that's probably the middle ground. Let them become legal. They've been here for years. One of the things that's very interesting, during that Sean Hannity town hall with Donald Trump, where Hannity seemed to be leading Trump to a softening position, which was very interesting. There are people in the audience who stood up and said, yeah, I believe that if somebody's been here for 30 years, they should go back. And Trump seemed horrified by that. He just seemed surprised, like, you got to be kidding me. That's a very extreme position. So I think Trump believes that the longer you stay, the deeper you are rooted here, the more kids and grandkids you have, the more you should be able to stay.
Yeah, and I think that's generally right. And the other thing is, from the political positioning, it seems that, you know, even the hardliners are willing to adopt the Trump change in position to enforcement, and then we'll deal with people who are nonviolent, who have been here illegally, but have been here peacefully and productively illegally for a long time. Even you had the president of FAIR, Federation for American Immigration Reform, say, and Trump hasn't substantially deviated from his core position. And the question is this a president who's going to carry out the law the way it's written? And is this a president who's going to work to stop illegal immigration, kind of prospectively? Seems like they're massaging their position to stay in formation with Trump.
Yeah, and for half of the reason they're doing that is because a lot of what Trump will say is reasonable. We ought to be able to treat differently the 70-year-old grandfather who's rooted in this country and has a whole set of lives wrapped up in him than somebody who just got here last week. It's common sense. We can't treat all 12 million people alike. The left wants to legalize everybody, but the right wants to deport everybody, and they're both wrong. You need to be able to go through it, pick and choose who stays and who goes. It's the way it's got to happen. But the other half of the reason that Trump is given much latitude is because his supporters so deeply hate and resent and loathe Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
And so every Clinton voter is not too thrilled with Clinton, but they hate Trump. And every Trump voter is not too thrilled with Trump, but they hate Clinton, and that's what's driving the election.
And he is Ruben Navarrete, syndicated columnist at the Washington Post Writers Group. Ruben, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some high clouds and some sun by this afternoon after the soggy start to your day. A high today of 83 degrees. Then tonight a shower or thunderstorm likely. And tomorrow not as warm. A big difference around here. A lot less humid. A high in the mid-70s. High travel times. Let's get the answer from Jim Talamonte.
Now, Amy, your inbound Kennedy is now an hour and a half from O'Hare to downtown. It's 50 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 20 minutes to the airport. Eden's 41 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower, an hour and 12 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound an hour and 30 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound an hour 10. Bryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound 21. It's slow out to 31st. Tri-State southbound slow, 120 to 137. Northbound jammed, Cicero to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway delays 31 to Roselle and 53 to Lee. Westbound, Devon Toll to a Toohey and Roselle to Barrington Road. Crash in the right lane. The other tollway is really heavy as well. And westbound I-80, really slow from I-57 to 355. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Baran, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing, Joe's specialties. Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects, to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe at Dependable Construction. Call Joe at Dependable Construction at AM 560. Feed the Children business benefactor. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091. Or you can visit them at tuckpointchicago.net.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
CEO pay is far higher than it was 40 years ago. But is this rising pay deserved? Not according to the critics of inequality. They tell us that no business leader is worth 100 times the lowest paid employee. But the question is, who has the right to decide what constitutes fair pay? The answer is the people cutting the check, the company's owners. The reason shareholders pay CEOs so much is because CEOs matter. The wrong CEO can sink a company. The right CEO can raise a company to great heights. What the inequality critics object to is not that CEOs are getting paid more than they're worth. What they object to is high pay as such. For more, see my forthcoming book with Don Watkins and listen to my show. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Barbecue grill ready? Check. Cooler packed and loaded? Check. Favorite jersey washed? Check. Lucky socks not washed? Check. Tickets good to go? Check. It's not even game day yet. But when it is, we'll be ready. On the Husky Sports Network.
The season opener is finally here. The University of Wyoming Cowboys and your NIU Huskies kick off this Saturday, 9:30 p.m. on your home for NIU football, AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and coming up just a couple of weeks after Labor Day weekend here, September 14th at the Hilton Chicago is an important event for Chicagoans to support military families. It's the 5th annual Chicago Evening of Tribute, sponsored by and hosted by the Navy SEAL Foundation. Again, that's Wednesday, September 14th at the Hilton Chicago, 6 p.m. And we're happy to be joined now by Rear Admiral Gary Benelli, a U.S. Navy SEAL, to talk about this a little bit. Admiral Bonelli, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, thank you so much for having me on your show and promoting the Navy SEAL Foundation event here in Chicago.
Well, it sounds like from your bio here, it's very colorful. You sound like a Father Flanagan story, a New York City Bronx street urchin, and you grew up to be Rear Admiral and a Navy SEAL. So tell us what the Navy SEAL Foundation does and why you're hosting this event in Chicago.
Sure. We're a nonprofit organization. We've been around since before the year 2000. What I like about the foundation, I retired from the Navy about 3 years ago before I got involved in the foundation. They reach out and they support the 2,500 SEALs and mission specialists that support the SEALs around the world. What we like to tout is that for every dollar a person gives to the Navy SEAL Foundation, 95 cents goes directly to the guys or their families.
Yeah,
that's great.
excellent.
And you help 8,900 people, and you've granted 330 scholarships. Have you met some of these scholarship recipients?
Absolutely. The story I like to tell is one of the things we do, because the guys have gone from the family so long. The average SEAL in a given year is gone about 270 days a year from their family. So we have these SEAL camps for the kids. I was just up in one of the camps. Make a long story short, sitting around a campfire. They've been bonding for about 3 or 4 days, and one young man gets up. He's probably no more than 13 years of age. Stands up and says, "Hey, my dad's a Navy SEAL, and my dad sucks." And I'm on the other side of the campfire with a nice young lady, and a little light bulb goes on her head. She stands up and says, "Yeah, my dad's a Navy SEAL, and he sucks too." Meaning they're gone all the time. So, we try to build resilient warriors. To do that, we have to build resilient warrior families. And when the kids find out they're not in this alone, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, that's really a good point about it being a family affair. I also note that the SEAL Foundation provides support for in times of illness or injury loss. How much has that perhaps increased recently with some of the failures, frankly, of the Veterans Administration to provide proper health care for our wounded warriors?
I try not to pick on the Veterans Department or the Department of Defense. We're in there to supplement what they can do. What's amazing is, we have a man killed in action. They'll do a good job of taking care of the immediate family, but the man might have been raised by the uncle, or there's a double marriage or something, and the Navy doesn't recognize those extra family members. So we try to reach out to them, and our Gold Star families, those that have lost someone in action, are the center of gravity for the Navy SEAL Foundation.
All right. He is Rear Admiral Gary Bonelli, U.S. Navy SEAL. The event, sponsored by the Navy SEAL Foundation, the 5th Annual Chicago Evening of Tribute. That is September 14th at the Hilton Chicago at 6 p.m. You can get information on tickets or to make a donation by going to NavySealFoundation.org. Admiral Bonelli, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the event.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
Well, I had back pain for the last 40 years. 4 days after I started taking this stuff, it's gone.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to take your calls. Does what Trump have to say on immigration tomorrow, will it impact your vote, depending on what he has to say? Taking your calls through on 264-5600 at 808.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, state voter registries reportedly hacked in 2 states, including Illinois. A Harvey official accused of sexual assault. And a cloudy, warm, and humid day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. In Hawaii,
They're dealing with a possible 1-2 punch. That's what Hurricane Madeline and Lester may deliver this week.
With both of these systems, there's a large degree of uncertainty in the track.
John Bravender with the National Weather Service says it's hard to know where the storms will go. Madeline's first, expected to pass near the Big Island by tomorrow. Lester could hit Hawaii later in the week. It's also going to be stormy along the Carolina and Florida Gulf coasts. Fox's Evan Brown is tracking 2 systems live in Miami.
Yeah, Dave, tropical storm warnings are up for the North Carolina coast, including the Outer Banks. That means storm conditions are likely within the next 24 hours. Tropical Depression 8 is 85 miles from Cape Hatteras and is expected to cause flooding and soon could become a tropical storm. Tropical Depression 9 in the Gulf of Mexico could also become a tropical storm. It's on a path towards the Florida coast north of Tampa Bay. Hurricane Gaston continues to churn in the open Atlantic. It's away from the U.S., but it could impact the Azores later this week, Dave.
Evan, the U.S. Treasury says what Europe has just done could undermine the spirit of our economic partnership. Critical of a big tax bill Apple has just been given. Fox's Simon Owens live in our European bureau.
Dave, Apple facing a $14.5 billion tax bill. The European Union ordering Ireland to reclaim money, which it says Apple avoided paying after the Irish government offered illegal tax breaks.
It gave Apple a significant benefit compared to other businesses.
EU Competition Commissioner Margrethe Vestager, Apple is a leading employer in Ireland. The company and the Irish government both promising to appeal the ruling. Dave?
Simon, the polls are just opening now in Arizona. Republican Senator John McCain and Chef Joe Arpaio both face primary challengers. This is after Arizona and Illinois were both targeted by hackers, prompting the FBI to issue an alert to all states to boost security in their election computer systems. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 73. We've seen some powerful storms this morning and some heavy and dense fog. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A group of Skyway maintenance workers could be headed for a walkout this morning. Union representing the employees says they plan to walk off the job following 9 months without a contract. Illinois election officials are confident no voter data were compromised this summer when a hacker was able to see information on about 200,000 registered voters. State election websites in Arizona and Illinois experienced hack-related shutdowns earlier this summer. Each affected voter will be notified after a complete accounting. City employee and school board member in Harvey is accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Tyrone Rogers was charged yesterday with aggravated criminal sexual assault. Authorities say he hacked the victim last week inside the city's municipal center. Rogers was arrested Saturday night and has been placed on unpaid administrative leave. The murder of Dwayne Wade's cousin is amping up the call for tougher sentencing. AM 560's David Stewart has details from the 5th floor of City Hall.
2 paroled gun offenders are charged with shooting 32-year-old Nikia Aldridge, a mother of 4 who was a cousin of Chicago Bulls star Dwayne Wade. She was shot on the street Friday while pushing one of her children in a stroller. Mayor Emanuel says there must be longer sentences for repeat gun offenders.
You have a mother who's trying to enroll her children at school. The family and those kids have rights too. The law has to change.
He supports a bill sponsored by State Senator Kwame Raoul that's expected to be considered this fall. David Stewart, Chicago.
Chicago sports in 13 innings. Cubs over the Pirates 8-7. And the Tigers 4-3 winners over the White Sox. The news, a service of 7-Eleven. Chill out this summer at 7-Eleven with a refreshing ice-cold Big Gulp. Try a classic chicken sandwich or their new quarter-pound classic cheeseburger for $1.99. Only at 7-Eleven. 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Apple is facing a tax bill in Europe of up to $14.5 billion. Margrethe Vestager, the EU Commissioner for Competition, is accusing Apple of having a head office in Ireland just for tax purposes.
Apple's effective tax rate in 2011 was 0.05%. To put that in perspective, it means that for every €1 million in profits, it paid just 500 euros in taxes.
Apple's Tim Cook says the company never asked for a special tax deal and will appeal. And Volvo says it will hire approximately 400 engineers over the next 12 months. They will work on safety, electric cars, and self-driving cars. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards, and it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment. Now we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
QL1, this is Control. Checking in to see how excited you are for launch. Over? Well, actually, Control, I'm kind of bored. I think you cut out, QL1. It sounded like you said you were bored. That's affirmative, Control. You're about to travel 17,000 miles per hour through Earth's atmosphere, and you're bored? It just doesn't sound that exciting after using Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. I was able to get a completely online custom mortgage approval.
Come with me.
All right, you cut
If
out
you're blue,
Did you say
you
I can
get
mortgage approval
nothing.
in a minute? That's right, Control.
I don't know if you ever heard of me before,
a new house or refinancing your existing
I used
home.
to be
Rocket
called
Mortgage securely pulls your pay stubs and bank
the
statements
Waco
and builds you a
Kid.
custom mortgage solution so you get
I was
exactly
just
what you want.
walking down the street,
That is exciting. Yep,
and I heard a
definitely
voice
better than
behind me
months of
say,
dehydrated ice cream and powdered
"Reach
orange
for
drink.
it, mister."
3, 2, 1.
I spun around,
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com.
and there I was, face to face,
Visit for cost information and conditions.
with a
Equal housing lender.
6-year-old
Licensed in all 50 states.
kid.
MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
It's 8:07.
Threw
Check
my
the
guns
roads
down
in the
and
AM
walked away.
560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound
Little
Edensburg.
bastard shot me in the ass.
41 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy,
So
an
I
hour and
limped
a half
to the
from
nearest
here to
saloon,
downtown. 50
crawled
minutes from
inside a
Montrose,
whiskey
40 in
bottle.
the Express. Out about an hour and 20 minutes to O'Hare.
I've been
The
there ever
Eisenhower, an hour and 23 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 50 minutes from Manheim. Out about an hour to Manheim, an hour and a half to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, but delays start at 1:26. Outbound, we're looking at about an hour from Lakeshore Drive out to 3:55, making an hour 10 now. The Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 21. Lakeshore Drive southbound jammed. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue and slow 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, slow Washington to 176. Northbound from 147th to 31st, and from the Reagan all the way to the Grand Avenue curve. The other tollways have heavy delays. I-80 as well in both directions. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Humid with showers and thunderstorms around today and tonight. High 83, low tonight 68. Tomorrow, clouds followed by some sun with a high 76 and a starlit sky at night. Low tomorrow night 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
71 at O'Hare, 73 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Colin Kaepernick brought attention to something that, by and large, folks had better recognize the black community is feeling very, very adamant about.
Maybe you should find a country that works better for him. Let him try. It won't happen.
What I want to say is I love him. I have forgiven him.
You are no longer engaging in that kind of behavior.
Yes, I did tell you that.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, I want you to be on your best behavior. Anderson Cooper could be listening.
Oh, no.
Talking immigration, Trump, a little preview of Trump's speech tomorrow, what you expect to be in it, and your reaction, depending on what will be in it, if it's going to be very much like what we've heard from Trump on the issue over the last couple of weeks. He says it's a hardening. Other people have called it a softening. I think it's really just a filling in of the blanks here on the three prongs that have to be addressed.
Well, he had suggested that he would deport 11 million undocumented immigrants, and now he's promised, that he's going to ease up or soften on that issue.
Well, there's the three prongs: violent felons that are here illegally, the refugee matter and vetting as it pertains to refugees. We should always be a country welcoming people fleeing religious, political persecution, but we have to know who's coming in. And so you have to have law enforcement that is confident that they can do the vetting and that extends that confidence to the American people. And then the third are the people that are here illegally and have been for some time, and their only crime was coming here illegally, but they've otherwise been productive. And I expect that he is going to focus on the first two categories and significantly less that third category, because that is where there is general agreement. And the preponderance of the concern.
Yeah, but his whole campaign is about deportation, rounding up the people that are here illegally and kicking them out of the country. And now he's saying
says who?
Donald Trump, when he was campaigning, he promised people that he would kick the illegals out of this country, try and round them up. He spoke of a deportation force or deportation team. And now he's walking that back, and he's suggesting that they leave voluntarily. And that's what I have a problem, because I know a lot of people here that are overstayed their visas, who have homes, who are established in the communities, who are law-abiding citizens, who are not going to just pick up and leave.
Well, you change
and get in line to come back, because Lord knows if they'll ever be back.
You change it. I mean, part of this is that's the problem is when you don't do something as simple when there's unanimity, like removing people from this country who are not citizens, who are violent felons, convicted violent felons in many cases, then you poison the well for all of the other stuff that we can have a reasonable conversation about. People just turn off because you can't accomplish the thing which there is unanimity. So I don't want to talk about anything else until you tell me that you can affect this policy change where you have bipartisan support. And so I think it's going to be very difficult to get to that place other than to say, I'm not going to deal with that right now, but I will reiterate, as Reince Priebus did over the weekend, RNC chairman, that there will be no path to citizenship proposed by Donald Trump. And he has suggested as much. I'm not necessarily going to be rounding anybody up. That rhetoric is gone. But by the same token, I'm not providing people with a pathway to naturalized citizenship. There may be some normalization, kind of intermediate step, where you would have to leave and come back and then follow the process just like people trying to emigrate to this country legally.
But no one's going to do that. That's a pipe dream. That's a fantasy. And he knows that. So what is the possibility that you know of anyone that's here illegally that would just pick up shop, just leave, abandon, leave their mortgage payments, leave their house, and wait in line to try and get back in this country?
Well, at some point you say that there is this opportunity to take the stairs. And if you don't take the stairs, then some people are going to take the window. So which would you choose? I mean, honestly, that's at some point what the conversation could turn to. Here's the thing. Remember what this is about. This is not about understanding what our options are. This is about where does the political will lie? Where is the center of gravity on this issue? And the center of gravity on this issue is not pathway to citizenship. And it's not in that place right now because of the abject failure of the federal government to do the security piece of it. And this is why I think he's going to focus there to the exclusion of the much more complicated issue. But what do you think? 312-642-5600. And also, is there anything, if Trump continues to mollify some of his critics on taking such a hardline approach to immigration as he did in the primary, even just rhetorically, does that in any way change your support for Donald Trump? Or
what if he doesn't build this wall that he's been talking about for a year and a half now? Does that change your support for Donald Trump?
And the flip side, if he does modify and modulate his viewpoint and does fill in the details that have not been filled in to date in such a way that you find reasonable, if you were not a Trump supporter, if you were never Trumper as a conservative, or if you're, center left and you were inclined to vote for Hillary Clinton, even though if you're not ecstatic about it, would a Trump modification on this issue give you a reason for reconsideration? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's get some calls in. How about Candace in DuPage?
Oh, thanks. Good morning, guys. Okay, if he changed his mind or modulated, I would still vote for him because nothing is worse than Hillary. To me, she's the end of the game, the end of America completely built. But I would be very upset if he didn't build the wall. But one of the things I wanted to bring up, Dan, is that I read.
Candace, we had a magnetic pulse attack. Sorry, Candace, we lost you there somehow. Jane in Burr Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Yeah, what I want to know is what is the definition of productive? Is productive somebody who comes here and gets a job and produces and pays taxes, or is productive somebody who comes here and gets on welfare and EBT cards and all that but doesn't commit any other crime?
The former,
so
not the latter.
We need to define.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Thanks for the call,
it's not
Jane.
somebody who's sucking off government, entitlement programs. It's someone who's a productive member of society who has not committed a crime, who is well established here and has family members, generations of families here.
Well, not committed a crime in addition to coming here illegally. That's a crime. Let's call things what they are.
Okay, fine.
Here's one thing.
I don't like calling that a crime, but I guess you're right.
Well,
you're an attorney.
Well, this is like black letter law. This is not in controversy. How we deal with it is in controversy, I understand. One other thing Trump could propose, even as kind of a blue sky proposal, is something I've talked about in this show before, too. What about the idea, I'm going to put people to the test. This idea that there's people that want to come here to be productive. Great. Anybody who wants to come here to be productive and to add value to this country and to assimilate, they want a better life for themselves and their family, fine. Waive off welfare benefits. There's no constitutional right to welfare benefits. I waive off access to the welfare state. Then somebody is coming here to swim because they sink otherwise. I think that would be an interesting conversation and perhaps an example-setting moment for many indigenous Americans and indigenous politicians who cater to those Americans. Let's go to Noel on the South Side. Noel on the South Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Tom. How are you guys doing?
Morning.
So I just want to make a quick point. I just heard Amy say something kind of specific about people are not going to just up and leave their roots in the community, their mortgages, their jobs. It's very interesting how in this country we're talking about, deporting people or rounding people up. Yet we're not considering all the billions of dollars that illegal immigrants spend every year with the IRS, with paying taxes, property taxes, getting mortgages. But we're talking about, having all these people up and leave. And what's going to happen to all that income, all of those billions of dollars that immigrants contribute to the economy every year?
Yeah.
It's just a kind of to point out, how messed up the conversation is here. Well, we're way off track in this country right now.
Well, no. What about this? What about that if we expedited the processing and the vetting of people that are trying to emigrate to this country legally, who would ostensibly be as productive as those people who have come here illegally? I mean, the idea that people here can't be replaced by people who follow the law to get here, I'm not sure that is a compelling argument. Thanks for the call, Noel. Appreciate it. How about April in Grays Lake? You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Love listening to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. I wanted to say that, and I don't believe in illegal immigration. I think what they did was criminal to get here. But what they did was huge to get here. And as the daughter of an immigrant who did it legally, I just kind of wanted to respond to what Amy said. I think for them to go through an expedited process and to go through a fraction of what they did, it would be so relieved. And when I know friends who go to Mexico, go back home for a month, 2 months, 3 months at a time in the summers. If there's an expedited process, I think they're going to take it and feel so good about finally being able to breathe again.
Thanks for the call,
You
April.
always have that over your shoulder if you're here illegally.
Well, and this is why this is such a complicated issue, because then you have to talk about the idea of a guest worker program, about caps on H-1B visas for highly skilled, specialized individuals that come to this country, sponsored by companies. That is a big investment for a company to make to bring someone over through an H-1B visa. These are kind of the gradations of the issue, and so I appreciate what April had to say. And we're going to hear more of what you have to say right after this.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, if you like heat and humidity, enjoy today because it's going to go away. Today, a high of 83 degrees. And we can't rule out another shower or thunderstorm later this afternoon. Tonight, a shower. And then tomorrow, not as warm. Clouds giving way to some sun. A lot less humid. A high only in the mid-70s. Any high travel times? Let's get the latest from a very busy man this morning. Here's Jim Talamonte.
That's no fun at all on the roads or the rails. Amy, Metro reports big delays on the Union Pacific North line, mainly outbound, after a train was damaged by lightning near Rogers Park. Edens, 38 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 45. The Kennedy, an hour and 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour 10. The Ike is an hour and a half either way between Thorndale and the post office. Stevenson, inbound delays start at 1:26, then it's an hour and 20 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 10. The Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 21. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is a mess from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. The tollways all have heavy delays, and I-80 as well. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything's going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy's certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation, so you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM 560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. Have you received a letter or personal visit from the IRS? Has the IRS garnished your paycheck or seized your bank account? If so, you need to take action now. You're a target of the most powerful collection agency in the world, and you need representation you can trust. Don't get scammed by imitators and telemarketers' high-pressure tactics. At Wall & Associates, they develop trust with their clients through a free face-to-face consultation. They've saved their clients over $129 million in the past 5 years. Call 1-800-983-5313 now for your free face-to-face consultation. Ignoring your tax problem will only make it worse. Call 1-800-983-5313 to get immediate help. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has helped thousands of taxpayers, and they can help you. Call now, 1-800-983-5313. 800-983-5313. wallandassociates.net.
Sacrifice. When you have children, sacrifice just comes with the territory. You sacrifice a new outfit for a new baseball glove. You sacrifice a romantic getaway for summer camp. You sacrifice because you love your child and you want him or her to have every advantage. Let us help you lessen the sacrifice it takes to send your son or daughter to the finest private schools in Chicagoland by half. That's right. When you go to halfpriceschools.com, you'll find half off tuition for some of Chicagoland's most reputable private schools, from preschool all the way through high school. And you won't have to sacrifice hours in the car either. Our partner schools are located across Chicagoland. Chances are there's one near you. You want the best for your child. You're willing to sacrifice. And here at AM 560 The Answer, we're ready to help you with half-price tuition for private schools. Explore your options today at halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now.
I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, simple question. What do you want to hear Trump say on immigration in his speech tomorrow? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to Joe in Elwood. Hey, Joe, what do you want to hear?
Good morning.
Morning.
I want Trump to say that he's going to implement E-Verify with threatened imprisonment for employers that hire these people and set up sanctuary employment places for them. Because it's a matter of national security. They're just giving these people sanctuary and a job. It's no different than these other cities.
All right, E-Verify. Thanks for the call, Joe. Lee and Hammond, what do you want to hear Donald Trump say tomorrow?
Yeah, hi, guys. I don't really care about the people that are here. I already here. I think Trump needs to talk about border security. We got to get control of that border. You know, the drugs, the crime. We've got to, the people that are here, that's a side issue that's just clouding the waters with this thing. Until you have control of that border, it doesn't really make a difference what you do.
All right, thanks, Lee. Kurt in Park Ridge.
I want to hear Donald say that he's going to build a wall because one day there'll be another Democrat in office and he's going to let the floodgates open again. And if you're here illegally and you get arrested, you're going to get sent back. And people will stop coming once they know if they get arrested, they're going to get sent back.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Chris and Joliet, what do you want to hear tomorrow?
I'd like to hear that, he's going to enforce the laws that are on the books, particularly against employers. I mean, the reality of it is, if the work dries up, then they're not going to stay. And I'm not going to feel sorry for the banks that gave them mortgages because, tough. We bailed the banks out once for giving mortgages they shouldn't have.
All right.
That's their problem.
Thanks, Chris. Howard and Skokie, what do you want to hear?
Okay, I want to hear him talk about embassies. What is the legal definition of an embassy? Is it technically on foreign territory or not?
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Howard.
That's a new
Kathleen
one.
and Downers Grove.
Hi, I just want to hear that Trump will be sympathetic towards those who came here for a better life, but I think we need to hold those people to a higher standard. Anybody who came here, if they're on the link card, if they're getting free public education, there should be guidelines. If they're, making sure that no one is buying, or drug test people that have been on the government dole for 5, 10, 20 years, that's not unsympathetic. They're being held down because they're not being held to a standard. So I'd like to hear him say something about that. The people that are here, just make sure they're here and doing something good for the country.
All right. Thanks, Kathleen. Appreciate the call. Kent in Lincoln Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'd like to hear Donald Trump talk about building a wall, which is a national security issue, so I believe he'll be able to do that. But I think the most important thing he can talk about is non-citizenship, whether you let these people stay here legally after a certain amount of time or not. The Democrats' goal is to make them citizens so they can vote. If you throw it back at the Democrats, that's a losing issue for them, and it's a winning issue for him. So that's what I want to hear.
All right. Thanks, Kent. Suka in Willow Springs. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Okay, what I was going to say is I would give it an easy path to immigration if you're living here and you're productive, but you don't vote for 5 years, and that shows that you're not just buying votes.
Okay. Thank you. That's interesting. Larry on the north side. Hey, Larry.
Hi.
Hey, you're on.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. Basically, it doesn't matter to me what Donald Trump says or Hillary Clinton says because I'm not voting for either of them. I'm a never Trump or never Hillary. It's to me, it's the fraudster versus the felon, and I can't vote for either in good conscience.
Okay, thanks, Larry. Phil on the northwest side.
Yeah, Larry doesn't understand that when you don't vote, the Democrats register you anyway. And I guess he doesn't live in Chicago. I just like to see Trump renationalize America, unsocialize America, and if he's going to send anybody out of the country, he can start sending the liberals out. That'd be a good start for me.
Okay, Phil. Steve in Naperville.
They ought to speak English.
Pardon me?
You have to learn to speak English? That's what you want to hear?
If they're here and they're going to get, if they're going to be allowed to stay, they ought to be speaking English in the first place.
Thanks, Steve. Ralph and Rantoul.
I want to hear him talk about border security because it doesn't matter how many you deport without a border, they all crawl back in.
Thanks, Ralph.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's a quiz. Is identity theft just when someone other than you puts charges on your credit card? Nope, that's part of it, but identity theft is actually when someone pretends they're you for any number of undesirable reasons, like opening new accounts or a utility bill. Is it true that identity theft can't happen to you? Nope. 1 in 4 people have experienced identity theft. Will LifeLock help you more with identity theft than free credit monitoring will? Yep. LifeLock's proprietary technology detects a huge range of identity threats. And if you ever have a problem, one of our US-based agents will work to resolve it. So how'd you do on the quiz? Come on, how'd you really do? No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, you get a versus a when it comes to identity protection. Membership starts at just $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS to get 10% off now. LifeLock.
Hey, it's time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. 2 words, Door County. Take a few days off and escape to Wisconsin. Head on up to the White Lace Inn. It's a gorgeous bed and breakfast in Sturgeon Bay. Now, the White Lace Inn features 18 inviting guest rooms and suites and 4 elegant turn-of-the-century neighboring homes. Enjoy the gardens, gazebos, and the glory that is Door County. A $300 gift certificate, only $150. It can be applied to overnight stays or items in their store. For another fabulous getaway adventure, purchase an overnight stay package. For the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee, spend the night in Molly's room, their 2-room luxury suite with a private bath. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room. Yours only for $89 per couple. That's a $169 value. Check out all the deals only from your good friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Term limits, the Illinois Supreme Court decision on remap, and the state of the state. We'll discuss it all with Governor Bruce Rauner at 8:38.
But first, back into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, clouds and sun, 73 degrees. Forecasters and residents alike are keeping an eye on 2 tropical depressions in the Atlantic and the Gulf. Tropical Depression 8 is on track to dump heavy rain on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's expected to gain strength throughout the day. Could end up becoming Tropical Storm Ian. Donald Trump tying the controversy about Hillary Clinton's handling of classified information to the marital problems of one of her top aides, Huma Abedin, announcing yesterday she's separating from her husband, former Congressman Anthony Weiner, after yet another sexting scandal. Apple says it will appeal a decision made today by the European Commission that may cost the company $14.5 billion. A group of Skyway maintenance workers could be headed for a strike later this morning. The union representing the employees says they plan to walk off the job following 9 months without a contract. A city employee and school board member in Harvey is accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Tyrone Rogers was charged yesterday with aggravated criminal sexual assault. Authorities say he attacked the victim last week inside the city's municipal center. Cubs winners over the Pirates in 13 innings, 8-7. While the Tigers come back on the White Sox and earn a 4-3 win. The news is service of Back to School Illinois. Back to School Illinois providing school supplies for children in need. And you can help by making a donation at be2si.org. Back to School Illinois, working to improve educational opportunities for Illinois children, be2si.org. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher gets rough with the Never Trumpers.
Maybe you just ought to stay in bed and leave the heavy lifting to some of us who are trying to fight for the country.
How about you sit back and let those of us who are fighting desperately to keep Hillary Clinton out of the White House, let us do what we got to do, because you're just in the way. You're boring, you're tedious, and you're maddening.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors, so now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's CERTA with a C.
You've saved for retirement but aren't sure what to do with your savings. You need to make it work for you and make it last. The Alpha Wealth Group has cutting-edge programs designed to help you identify the challenges surrounding retirement. They'll help you create a clear picture and roadmap for your future, how to maintain your present standard of living and make your money last. So don't wait until you're left without options. Get answers you need in a free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement. This invaluable report is from Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group here in Chicago. Tom is the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays at 9 a.m. on AM 560 for the past 8 years, and has been featured in Fortune and on Fox Business. Are you ready to get serious about your retirement? Call the Alpha Wealth Group now for your free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement, at 800-748-3185. That's 800-748-3185. Or visit alphawealthgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
8:37. Let's get an update on the roads now. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delay start at Willow, 45 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 50. The Kennedy, an hour and 25 minutes. So here to downtown, outbound an hour and 5 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour and a half. Thorndale to downtown, an hour from Manheim. Outbound an hour 25 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 10. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound it's 21. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed solid, Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. North on Tri-State, stop and go, 147th to 31st, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway delays Higgins to Roselle and Arlington Heights Road to Lee. Reagan Tollway from Orchard to 355 and York to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial jammed 127th to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Westbound I-80 really slow, 355 to 30. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Warm and humid today. A shower or thunderstorm will hang around throughout the day, high 83. Currently, showers and storms across the area, 74. Next news at 9, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Business Insanity Radio Show with Barry Moltz, Sunday nights at 11. It's all about getting your business unstuck and moving forward.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and take a little cleansing breath from the presidential race and a discussion of immigration and talk a little state politics. November 8th is not just an election for president, it's also an election for state legislative candidates, for the state comptroller's office, for U.S. Senator and congressional races here in Illinois. And so it turns out state policy matters a lot and, frankly, has more of a day-to-day impact on your life than federal policy.
How many candidates are you helping out?
As many as I can.
As many as possible.
That's as many as I can. So for that discussion on policy and a little bit of electoral politics, we're pleased to be joined again by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Governor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. How you guys doing?
Good morning. So why don't we start with the Supreme Court decision last week on the REMAP amendment initiative to put a redistricting reform question on the November ballot. The Supreme Court shot it down again along partisan lines, and you called it an affront to democracy. Why?
No, it's so damaging to our democracy. You know, our system is rigged. It's broken. We have gerrymandered districts. Many of them are shaped like spaghetti noodles, designed to lock in incumbents, put all Democrats in some districts, all Republicans in others. So there's no competition. There's no choice. There's no alternative ideas debated in these races. And the people of Illinois don't have a real voice and real choice. Democracy doesn't work on that basis. So what we've got to do is get rid of the partisan gerrymandering, have competitive general elections. 2/3 of the races in Illinois this cycle, here in November, there's no opponent. It's one person running for an office. That is wrong. The system's broken.
Well, with
Same
Mike
thing on
Madigan,
term limits.
yeah, but with
Same
Mike
thing.
Madigan in charge, how is that ever going to change?
Well, it's all changes when the people of Illinois put pressure on their representatives and their senators in the General Assembly and say, look, guys, enough's enough. The system's broken. Put redistricting reform on the ballot. Let us vote it up or down. Let the people have a voice in this issue. If the people put pressure on their state senators and their state reps, and they're running for office right now, so the pressure can be real, people can say to their candidate, hey, you either commit to put redistricting reform on the ballot, you commit to put term limits on the ballot, or we're not going to vote for you. We can change this broken system.
And term limits is there's been a marketing campaign behind the term limits initiative, including a commercial that you cut. Why is that so important? Why do you see that as a linchpin for the structural reforms you've previously articulated you'd like to see enacted?
Well, I tell you, we can't fix our economy. We can't fix our school funding. We can't fix our budgets to fund our human services for our most vulnerable if we don't have a political system where politicians are held accountable for their decisions. If they're always locked in office, always just loyal to the machine that controls Illinois politics, we'll never make long-term progress for the people of Illinois. We need two critical reforms. One is redistricting reform so we can have competitive general elections. The other is term limits on elected officials. Term limits will be the single fastest way to change the culture in state government. Rather than patronage and cronyism and people working for a pension and for personal benefit, we'll have people who are there for the right reasons, short term, make decisions that are common sense for the people of Illinois, and then get out of office. Don't stay locked, entrenched, making money from your position. Go back to the real world. Term limits was set in place by George Washington when he founded America. He only served 8 years and said that's enough. We should let other leaders emerge. We need 8 years limit on elected officials statewide, as well as on the General Assembly, so they don't get locked in, entrenched with special interests. They work for the people and then get out of office. That's essential to restoring democracy in Illinois.
Governor Rauner, the only thing my father wanted for his birthday, instead of, some item that he'd just throw away, he wanted us to all log on to fixillinois.com and sign the petition.
There you go. That's exactly the right thing. We've got a website. People can come up, fixillinois.com. They can sign the petition. We've got to put pressure, and the perfect opportunity to create pressure is this election cycle. We've got races going on for the General Assembly, and everybody around the state, Democrats and Republicans, can stand up there, look their candidate in the eye, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, whether for Senate or the House of Representatives, and say, are you going to vote for reform of the system, changing the system and restoring democracy, or are you going to support the status quo and the machine that's got us by the throats in Illinois? Now's the time to support reformers in this election.
And speaking along those lines, what did you make of the proposal that Illinois Comptroller Leslie Munger proposed at the State Fair a couple weeks back? No budget, no pay. Prospectively, if the General Assembly doesn't do their job and pass a constitutionally balanced budget that you can sign, then they don't get compensated for a job they didn't do.
It's a wonderful, wonderful idea. I'm a strong advocate for it. I'm in the weeds every day on the detail of state government and the budgeting process. It's so broken. I can't find a balanced budget that we've had going back more than 25 years. We either don't pay our pension, we don't pay our bills, or we borrow in the bond market, and it's bankrupting the state, and it's pushing employers out, and it's putting our property taxes through the roof. Our system is broken, and one of the quick ways to change it is Leslie Munger's idea. She's awesome. She said, look, how about if we say, if it's not a constitutionally balanced budget, you don't get paid. That'll change their mindset real fast.
Well, why aren't we like Indiana? It's against their state constitution if they don't have a balanced budget. Do you ever see that happening here?
It's against ours, too.
We already have a constitutional statement in our Constitution that says that expenses can't exceed revenues. Our legislators in the General Assembly, they ignore it, and they also say, hey, let's be creative. Let's call borrowing revenue. We can borrow, and that's revenue. I mean, it's such a broken, manipulated system. It benefits the political insiders. It doesn't benefit the people and the taxpayers. That's why term limits are so critical. That's why fair maps, redistricting reform is so critical. And Leslie Munger's got a great idea. No budget, no pay.
I want to go to some heat you're taking for a decision you made yesterday to veto a pay raise for social service providers, or those who work for social service agencies, healthcare in particular. The suggestion is you're going to get from the left that, you don't want people to make $15 an hour. How do you react to the criticism you're receiving?
Well, I would love to see some of our workers get some more money. But what we can't do right now, we don't have a budget. We don't have a balanced budget. We don't have any money. We can't put another mandate on the taxpayers of Illinois. Pushing everybody immediately right now to $15 an hour would put another $330 million of additional burden on the budget and on taxpayers. We can't do that right now. We've got to have some financial discipline and live within our means. And I'm willing to change the system, bring more efficiency so we can put more money into our human services, pay some more money to some of our workers. I support that goal, but we've got to do it in a balanced way with financial discipline, or our state is just lost. We'll never get out of our problem.
Do you get the idea that social service providers and others who are really in a bad way because of the backlog of unpaid state bills and just the general financial condition of the state are starting to get the joke, even those that have been aligned with the Democrats for a long time and have kind of taken whatever they can get from state government? Are they finally starting to get the joke that they just can't operate the way they've been operating either, because they're not going to be exempt from the pain that's inflicted by the lack of sensible fiscal policy?
Yeah, most of them, they're thoughtful folks. They care about doing the right thing to help the most vulnerable, and I'm with them. I ran for office to have a system that helps the most vulnerable. But our system is so broken. The not paying bills, this has been going on for years before I got into office. We have just been financially mismanaged, running deficits, running debt, not funding our pensions, pushing our employers, our job creators out of the state, and pushing our property taxes to the highest in America. The system is broken. We've got to fix it. The way to start is term limits and fair maps, and then we've got to get the structural reform, shrink the wasteful bureaucracy, and get the money into our human services, get the money into our schools through economic growth and more efficient government. That's the right answer for the long term.
How do you feel about raising our pension or our property taxes once again, this time now to pay for the teachers' pensions?
Oh, my goodness. We are in such trouble as a state on our property taxes if we don't get the reforms that we're advocating. We've already got the highest property taxes in America. People in Chicago have been crushed this year with higher property taxes, and that's only the tip of the iceberg for people in Chicago if we don't get the structural reform that we've been advocating. We need political reform, term limits and fair maps. We need pension reform, and we've agreed on how to constitutionally do that. But so far, the supermajority has refused to do pension reform. We've got to get pension reform. And very importantly, we need economic reform so we can compete, grow more jobs, get higher family incomes, expand our tax base. That's the best way to keep our property taxes reasonable.
Now, I've got to take issue with this. Is a kind of a minor point, but I've got to take issue with you on something. As a snob.
A political snob?
I'm
snob in general?
Just in general.
Okay.
I noticed you signed legislation that would ban out-of-state wineries from shipping to Illinois residents. So if I want to order a nice bottle of Bordeaux to be shipped to me from the French Laundry in Napa after I've been vacationing there, and I can't do it without being subjected to a Class 4 felony. Why can't I know wineries can ship to Illinois residents, but why can't wine stores ship to me and my refined tastes be satisfied?
I have to say, I'm a free market guy. I don't like regulations, period. But we've got a system that's both federally mandated as well as local. We've got a system of distribution for alcoholic beverages that's in place, and we got to make sure that it's properly structured. I'd support major overhaul of the system, but right now we got to make sure that we do it the right way and that it's comprehensive. All
right, a political question before we let you go. I know we're focused on the November 8th election. You are too. You mentioned the legislative races, the comptroller's race. But there's already talk of the 2018 race and the prospect of one senior U.S. Senator from Illinois named Dick Durbin running against you. Are you looking ahead to 18 and who your matchup may be? And what about the prospect of a Dick Durbin running against you?
Well, I'm really not focused on that. That's 2 years off. And more than 2 years off, and I'm focused on getting the state strong and healthy and government efficient and growing the economy and protecting property taxpayers and funding our schools properly. The only comment I'll make is career politicians has failed us at every level for years, and more of that same isn't going to fix our problem.
All right, he is Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Governor Rauner, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks much.
Thank you, and he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Well, if you like heat and humidity, enjoy today because things are going to change. We're going to have a high of 83 degrees with a possible shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. Tonight, a shower likely, and tomorrow, again, not as warm, a lot less humid, a high in the mid-70s. High travel times. Let's get the answer from Jim Telemonte.
Now it's sticky on the inbound Edens. Heavy delays start at Willow, 45 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 50. The Kennedy, an hour and 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 46 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 5 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and a half. Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour and 25 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 10. The Ryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown, outbound 20. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, solid mess. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, 40 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe, northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go 147th, 31st, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial, we see heavy delays from 127th to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. A little bit of a delay northwest Indiana, 8094 westbound Burr to Indianapolis Boulevard. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-400-9591. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-400-9591. 1-800-400-9591.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my